Oh no. Alright, here we are, live, coming at you from Auckland, New Zealand, and here's a little recap of what's going on in the Vaingate Chronicles. So, thrust into a delicate political situation, our adventurers are beginning to discover that they are now in the center of a conflict that spans not only kingdoms but empires, not only centuries but aeons. Having escaped Vaingate and the trouble that they have left behind, namely Lord Inquisitor Vorbis Daal Rennaz of the Barachiel Envoy, and the companions have been led to a mysterious island in Lake Lockharte, the Isle of Shadows, by our very own celestial warlock, Leith Mystralath, that's Steve Austin, who's been hiding his association with the servants of the Fox, an order of volunteers protecting the last direct heir to the throne of Hemethtireth. And while our beloved rogue Milford Brixton has made amends with the future High King Galandahl Braegan Erothani, the ancient planeswalker Imral Maith Ellassadril, Braegan's highest advisor and confidant, has made it clear that bringing a large group of strangers and a ship full of extremely wanted treasure to their secret hideout has caused some complications to the ownership of said treasure boat. But even now, as they prepare to venture to the other side of the Isle of Shadows and enter another Asturian site, rumoured to be filled with goblins this time, Galandahl Braegan is learning the truth about her father, Galandahl Braegan, a powerful figure with a reputation among the elves that has been kept from her whole life. As the right-hand man of the usurper king, her father has been responsible for any number of atrocities. Not only this, but he has dragged her brothers and other members of her family into the reviled Black Guard too, an elite faction of fascist warlords bent on destroying the remaining Erothani line and confiscating and controlling all magic in Sidariel, including the ancestral magic of the elves, on behalf of a king whose reign was predicated in dubious circumstances. Thus, mysteries pile upon mysteries, and our companions are left overwhelmed with choices. For now, they have thrown in their lot with the servants of the Fox on the Isle of Shadows, and have agreed to the tithe that has been demanded, and they are showing fealty to the true and future king. We find them now resting in their pavilion on the western half of this mist-shrouded island, here in the heartland of the Wood Elves. The yellow light of Solemn Pingal trickles through the seams of the pavilion and fills the interior with the radiance of the first sun. Our heroes have begun to wake from a long night's rest, the first night of truly deep rest that they have had for some time. I would like to introduce you to Barry Tahira, playing Milford Brixton. Leith Mystralath, played by Steve Austin.
Hey everyone.
Joanna Grotenhouse is playing Galandahl Braegan.
Hello.
And we have Max Easy as the Baron Adrian Montcoff.
Hello.
And finally, last but not least, Michael Bache as Adric Fogdar.
Hello there.
Right. So you guys are waking up in this pavilion, in your tent, essentially, and the light is coming through the cracks in the fabric, beginning to fill the room with these pools of radiance as you start to wake up. And suddenly there is a piercing sound of a horn. Outside, not very far away, maybe 20 feet from your tent. What do you do?
I hope that's for breakfast. I really do.
Yes, I think it might be breakfast time. I'm not totally sure, but it sounds like it.
You see silhouettes of guards moving along the outside of the tent quite rapidly towards the door, towards the entrance.
Puts his pillow over his face. Murder. Anyone gets me out of this bed. Murder.
You hear, "Intruders! Alarm! Alarm!"
Oh, I don't think it is breakfast actually. Adric, I think you might need to get up.
Well, murder still applies, but intruders first.
Yes, let's apply that murderous energy out the door, please.
Well said, Leith.
Well,
I'm gonna go and get breakfast. I don't know about you lot. What was that you said? I didn't quite catch it.
One of the guards pushes his way in. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Forgive me. There's been a sighting in the perimeter. Lord Maith has asked for your presence immediately.
Okay.
Yes, tell him where.
You've gone silent.
Yes, you cut out there, Leith.
Tell him that we're on our way. I'll try and unmute myself as well.
All right. So he
I'm going to tentatively cast Mage Armor upon myself.
right. You're
Andrew casts chainmail armor on himself.
you're casting the mundane version. It's called chainmail. All right. Very well. It takes a bit of work.
Oh, my spell slot! No.
Pull your hauberk up over your head and it catches in your beard and all of that fun stuff. I used to wear chainmail. I used to be one of those weird people that went out and did sword fighting, and I had all that stuff.
You unironically sound incredibly cool back in the day.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and I wasn't that cool. But anyway, you make your way outside. Idran, you cast Mage Armor, and your body shimmers briefly with the glow of the magic as it wraps around you and forms itself, hardening into its mage armor. You step outside, and there's a light mist and a small it's dripping rain.
Leith sees that everybody's changing into some form of magical armor, so he just goes, magical armor, and his glamoured leather armor goes all glowy.
Ooh, so he's all right. What's his current color scheme?
It's the Servants of the Fox emblems and everything all over it, but it's glowing purple.
Right. Just to be clear, we'll have to talk about these Servants of the Fox emblems and what, because they are somewhat of a secretive order, and they don't go around sort of promoting themselves outwardly, but they do have symbols that they use within their society. So we can talk about those.
Leith certainly wouldn't wear the symbols outside of the island.
Right, that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so you step out into the rain as well, I assume?
Yep.
Okay, Goodale, what are you doing?
Galandahl is shimmying into her splint armor and wishing she had something as flash as Leith.
Probably wishing you had a servant too, to be honest.
Probably.
Right, this is where you need squires and things. All right, so you guys all basically come pouring out of the tent into the muddy field of the camp on the edge of the island. In the distance, you can see down the hill, between the hills here, your boat sitting half up on the shore, and there's a bunch of your the men that were rowing the boat, the crew essentially, milling around down there, busy with other tasks, putting up new tents and things too. Right. Where do you go?
Where are all the soldiers heading?
Right. Okay. So the soldiers are all heading over towards. There's a heavy guard outside Maith's tent right now, and he comes stumbling out through the door. And he looks around and he sees you, makes eye contact with you, Adric and Leith, Goodale. Not that he can make eye contact with you so easily because he has a red cloth wrapped around his face and tied at the back. But you get the impression of being gazed upon despite that. And he sort of glides over in your direction. He's got his staff in one hand. Greetings, adventurers. There has been word of a sighting about the camp. Are you familiar with what a warg is? Have you heard the term?
A water warg?
No, just a warg.
A warg. They're like large wolves.
Yes. There's been a sighting of some sort of goblinoid riding a warg among the hills nearby,
Oh.
scanning about us.
You have a lot of problems with goblins on here.
There has been an influx of them in the last few weeks, yes.
Any potential reason for that, or nothing in particular comes to mind?
I suppose they are rising up from the Underdark, from whence they come.
Do they pose any credible threat to the servants of the Fox?
No terrible threat at present, but they do make life somewhat irritating, this sort of nonsense. I should ask that you go and shoo them off for now, if you will.
Well, perhaps if they're coming up from the Underdark, we should find a way of cutting them off, of maybe causing some sort of landslide further down.
Well, we could talk about such a thing. I have something that I would like you to consider later in the day, however. So if perhaps before breakfast you can chase off this warg, that would be most useful. I have things to attend presently.
Shouldn't be a problem. Let's go, friends. Let's go
Certainly.
kick us a dog.
Yes.
Thank you. Ever so much appreciated. And he disappears back into his tent. One of the guards says, my lord's lady, what should I do? I can point you in a direction if you like. Would you like me to come along?
No, I think we should be fine. Just tell us where to go.
Right, if just through there and up those hills there, and up where that stone is there. Can you see that shingle on the side of the hill? We saw some sort of figure up there. It looked like a large figure on the back of this huge wolf. He had a helmet on with horns on it. I think that's what Alsel told me. Anyhow.
Yes, I think we should be able to sort that out for you. No, not a problem. Is it difficult to find the area, or could we be able to find it ourselves?
Oh, you can see it there, but I'm not sure. You just go and see if you can track it. I think would be the best.
Does anybody feel confident with tracking a wolf?
Thorn comes wandering out from another tent. Ah, adventurous, she says.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, morning it is. Joanna's dropped out. Okie doke. Thorn puts on her helmet, straightens it. You want help tracking this warg?
Oh,
if you're accustomed to tracking wargs, I think we'd be grateful for the help.
if you're happy to come and help, certainly. But I'm not sure. I think we might have this under control.
Good. I have better things to do.
All right, well, I guess we'll be on our way then.
Right.
Hang on, wait a minute. Does any of us know how to track?
If I were to give myself a rating out of 5, I'd say my ability to ascertain nature would be a 2 out of 5. So I think we're good.
I mean, it's a large wolf. It can't be difficult to spot, and we're looking from the top of a hill. So
You've got a good point.
I'm feeling quite confident we're going to be able to find it pretty easily.
I'll tell you what, you lot go and look for the wolf and give me a holler. Now I'll get you some breakfast.
Oh, you want to stay behind, Milford?
Oh, I'm getting a vision. What is it? Brixton goes off to get breakfast, and he finds the warg, and it bites his arse. All by himself. Because splitting our party's the best decision.
All right then.
Well, it's a good decision in breakfast time, I'm sure.
I'll relay my breakfast for this.
Nothing quite
What
challenges
is the warg anyway? What is the warg? Does anybody know what a warg is?
We said it was a wolf-like
a very
creature.
large wolf. Yes.
Yeah. A very large wolf. But we're very small people.
I think we are some.
Well, let's go then. And then I'll get some breakfast.
Sounds like a plan.
Right.
Thank you, Milford.
So, which way do you go and what do you do?
The direction the soldier pointed us in?
Okay, so you guys start heading off up that way. And who is going to be doing your tracking, if anyone?
I say just if no one is able to track, then we go to the top of the hill and see what we can see.
What would tracking be?
Survival.
All right.
I thought it would be nature. Whoops. I've got a +4 to survival.
Oh,
Seems like you're our guide then.
Really? Really? Galandahl, how are you with survival? Because you're all wisdom based, right?
I've got a +2.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah. I guess it's me. The guy who lived in caves his whole life. Cool. So I guess Adric's leading the way on this one somewhat.
has a natural direction sense.
This feels like where the Earth being most magnetic. That feels right. Cool. I guess we're gonna get to the top of the hill, and I'm gonna. Can I search for the walk or tracks?
All
Traces
right,
of the
so
walk?
you can make a survival check now.
Huzzah! All right, man, I can't wait for this to be a flat one. That's a 12.
A 12. You think you can see a few tracks there. There's a few imprints in the mud around the rocks there that look kind of like large, heavy wolf tracks. But you also notice there's a few other tracks too of much smaller little footsies, more the size of children perhaps, but
I've got great news and potentially concerning news.
flatter,
great
squatter
news-
feet.
The great news is the warlock was definitely, potentially here. The mildly concerning news is these smaller footprints, likely children, and/or goblins.
oh,
There's a fairly sizable amount of goblins, or a bunch of children running out in the woods, which is deeply concerning.
surely that's not very likely though, Adric. There wouldn't be children running around on their own on a hidden island, would there?
Well, yes, from what we've been told, it's more likely goblins, right?
Most likely, but never rule out the improbable.
Right.
True.
Just in case it's ever required, and it's very unlikely. But can I just get you guys to roll initiative? You know, probably won't happen.
Completely unlikely.
Very extremely unlikely. So, Edrin, that's a 7, is it?
That's a 21 for Leith.
Damn.
21 for Leith. Okay. Galandahl's
18 for
20.
Adric.
21 for Galandahl, so
18
we're
for Adric. Milford Brixton.
fighting to be first, Leith.
What's your dexterity, Joe?
My dexterity is a +1.
16.
Oh, so is mine. What decides it after that?
Okay, so Galandahl,
Boys.
as you're heading through the trees and up the slope, and you among these sort of shingly hills, essentially hills covered with small grey stones, many of them. You notice a few of these stones start falling down the hill, kind of like as if somebody sort of tripped over them or sent them falling by moving up in that direction. And you see movement up there, and then you see the silhouette of this figure sitting on this huge wolf with this horned helmet and a spear in one hand between the trees. And he points the spear in your direction, he or she. Points the spear in your direction, and then you see all these smaller figures leap up out of the scrub around you and start charging down the hill towards you. What do you do, Galandahl?
I think we found them. Everyone get their weapons ready.
How many are
And-
there?
There's quite a few. There is about... There seems to be about 4 of them all together, actually, including the not including the warg.
Sworg. There's 4 of them heading down the hill.
I mean, you can all see them. You don't have time for conversation. They're attacking you. They're moving towards you. By the time they come into your range, you need to do something.
Okay, sorry. Whip out my crossbow
All right.
and aim for the one that's ahead of the rest.
Okay, so for the closest one, the one on the warg, or one of any of the smaller ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna aim for the warg between the eyeballs.
All right. All right. Roll to hit, please. Roll to hit.
11.
11. 11 does not hit. It goes sailing past and thuds into a tree. Do you have any bonus actions that you'd like to use?
Dang it. I believe. No, getting my spiritual weapon. That's an action if I get it up, isn't it?
Yes. I do believe so.
Silly. Okay. Can I? That's an action. I'm gonna just take another. Oh no, I don't think I have a bonus action this round. I'm gonna run for cover.
All right. So you use your movement to get to a tree and you take cover. All right. Leith.
Okay. How many of them are there?
About 5 or 6. I'm adding another 2 now, coming over the hill.
So a few. Are they all tightly packed together?
No.
No.
They are taking. They're trying to surround you. They look like they're going to try and surround you.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to put a hex to start with.
All right.
On the one riding the warg.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say wisdom.
All right.
Russell, you're frozen up and you're glitching.
Yep, that's okay. I'm fixing that.
Yep.
Here we go.
And then
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
fire an Eldritch Blast
Yes. At
the one on the warg,
All right.
and the one closest to him.
and the one closest to him.
I've just got the ability to double beam my Eldritch Blast.
All right then. Roll to hit with your Eldritch Blast.
Do I roll for each beam?
I believe so.
Yep. So
21 hits the
first one.
The first one. We're going to call him the boss. All right.
Okay, and a 15 for the second one.
All right, so the first one was a 21, that hits. The second one is going for a normal goblin, and that was a 15 too, wasn't it?
Yep.
That also hits. Okay, so let's do damage to the goblin boss.
So the goblin boss is 1 point of damage from
my.
the Eldritch Blast.
That's incredible.
Plus the hex damage is 2 points. Oh,
You're
hilarious.
not the poster boy for warlocks right now.
And 7 points of damage to the little gobbo.
Okay, well you hit the second goblin. The first goblin, you hit him in the shoulder, and he doesn't really notice it very much. Kind of just ignores it. He looks down at it and sees his armor, the pauldron of his armor, kind of smoking a little bit, and looks back at you and starts charging in your direction. The second goblin, you hit him right in the face. He falls on his back, steam and smoke coming out of his helmet, and he's just laying there, kind of gurgling on his own blood right now. So you can pretty much say you killed the second one. Adric, unless Leith, you have any bonus actions that you would like to use?
My bonus action was the hex.
Right, okay. Yes, Adric, sorry.
How far are they out from us right now?
How far? What?
Sorry, how far are they from us right now?
30 feet.
30 feet.
Yep,
Okay.
the first wave is 30 feet. There's going to be another wave.
Okay, cool. I'm going to walk 20 feet out, and can I use? I'm going to use lightning lure on the chief goblin.
Okay.
So I need him to make a. What is this? Is that a saving throw? I'm 16 on a strength saving throw.
Okay, so you're attacking him. Now, he's got a special reaction called redirect attack. So when a creature the goblin can see targets it with an attack, and that's what you're doing, the goblin chooses another goblin within 5 feet of it. The two goblins switch places, and the chosen goblin becomes the target instead.
Cool.
Okay, so then one of the other goblins now needs to make a saving throw, right?
Yep, has to beat 13.
13. 13. Here we go. Rolling for the second goblin. Oh, he rolls a massive critical 1. And he basically lands right in front of you.
Cool, yeah. So he gets pulled.
So you missed the right
10
goblin,
feet
but
right
you
up
end
to
up
me.
with another goblin exactly where you want him.
And he takes 2d8 lightning damage.
Right, 2d8 lightning damage. Go for your
So
life.
that's 6 damage. And how this looks is like the runes on my my helmet, they charge up like a landing strip, like from the back to the front, and then lightning just shoots out the fin. Pulls it through.
All right.
Hello there.
You blast him with lightning. So that was 6 points, though, right?
6 points, yeah.
Okay.
Just so I'm clear, so I've got 2 attack actions now because level 5 fighter. Does the using magic like this, using a cantrip, eat up both of those attack actions?
One of those is an attack action, is it not? Oh no, it's an action. It's either an action or it's a bonus action. Which is it?
Casting time says 1 action.
Okay, so it's
that
an
that's
action.
the entire thing.
Right, so that is an action. If you want to use an offhand weapon, you would have to use an attack action.
Okay, so I'm going to use.
So you haven't
My
used an attack
offhand-
action, so you have to do something else as a bonus.
Okay, brilliant. No, that's my turn then.
That's your turn? All right then. In which case, the warg takes a snap at Leith as it goes past. Let's see how the warg does. So it's actually heading for Adric, but as it goes past it goes to attack you, Leith, and it just misses you. However, Leith, I'm going to give you a attack of opportunity.
Oh.
The warg boss obviously didn't think you were that important. Wasn't impressed enough with your eldritch blast to its pauldron.
I'll just firebolt it.
Firebolt it, all right.
That's a 10.
That does miss. That does
Sorry.
miss, unfortunately. Never mind. Okay, the warg has taken an attack at you. It's got... Yep, cool. Right, and the boss on the back of the warg throws its javelin at Adric. Adric, what's your armor class again?
So I've got my shield and my warhammer up, so my AC is 19 right now.
Okay. The javelin hits your shield and basically disintegrates it. Disintegrates the javelin, rather, not the shield. The shield disintegrates the javelin.
Righty.
So you block it heartily and smack it away. All right. Milford Brixton. Voice, sound, can't hear you.
Whoops. I'm sorry. That wasn't meant to happen.
Neither was mine.
No,
Hang
no.
on, right. I'm using my short bow.
Uh-huh. Roll to hit.
Hang on. I'm trying to get rid of this thing. Okay, short bow, and here we go. Oh, come on, be something good. 25.
25. That hits for hell for sure.
And I'm aiming at the big boss man.
All right.
And I'm doing 9 points of damage.
9 points of damage.
And then I'm hiding.
Okay, so then you take the hide action as a
Action.
bonus action because you are a rogue with that as a trait right now. Excellent. Great work. Okay, well, Edrin,
Hello.
tis
The
your turn.
warg is it just the warg and the goblin boss that are within 5 feet of each other if it ran past Leith,
Yes.
triggering? So they're just together, those two.
Yep.
I'm going to cast Ice Knife at 2nd level.
Uh-huh.
So, first of all, this is to the boss. Dirty 20 to hit.
That hits.
So, they take 1 point of piercing damage.
Oh my.
And both of them need to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay, first of all, I better delete that 1 point of damage because that
Dexterity.
could be game changing. That. So we're making saving throws, dexterity saving throws, is it?
Yes, please. For him, the big boss, and the warg.
And the warg. Okay, so a dex saving throw. The warg fails, and the goblin boss.
DC is 16, if that helps.
Yeah, they both rolled so pathetically low that won't make any difference. So, yep, they take whatever damage is coming to them.
They take 11 points of cold damage.
Ooh, does that also have a slow effect on it?
No, it does not. I don't believe so.
Okay, so, Idrin, as this thing goes sailing past those guys, you attack them with your... what was it specifically called, the attack you just
Ice
used?
Knife.
Ice Knife, that's right. So you hit with the Ice Knife. By the time the warg gets to you, the boss on the back of it has basically fallen forward and stopped moving. And he's come to a complete halt.
Ooh, yep.
All right. Do you have any bonus actions?
I feel like tonight's episode should have been called Death by Paper Cuts.
Right.
By paper cuts.
Dun dun dun.
Exactly. That one hit point did actually end up helping.
Yeah.
Possibly. Bonus actions, I don't believe so. So I will just retreat a little bit, but probably not too much, as you said, they're trying to circle in on us.
Okay, so you're going to try and pull back. You do not have the disengage action available to you right now.
Oh no, I mean is the warg right up to me?
It's move. Yeah, it's coming on you now.
Okay, that's fine then. I'll stay exactly where I am.
All right. Very good then. That's everybody. Oh, there's one goblin left, and it's going to try and attack Adric because Adric's his friend. Scimitar. Just coming at you, Adric. What's your armor class again? Was it 19 or 21?
19.
19. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. He misses. He glances off your armor. And, yes. Very good. Galandahl, it is your turn.
The Galandahl's going to get up her spiritual weapon this time,
All right.
and she's going to aim it at the last goblin,
All right.
which is the last goblin so far.
All right. So you need to roll to hit with that.
Yes. $25.
That definitely hits. And how would you like to kill him?
With my big blue blade, it's gonna go right between the eyeballs.
All right. So you just chomp him
Hopefully.
in half, basically. Just poof, and he splits in half and slumps to the ground. Kind of two sides writhing for a minute, dropping his weapons and turning. One eye looks at you, and then he turns to the other side, and you sort of see right through him for a moment as you get to the other side, and the other eye turns and looks at you, and then he collapses in front of you. The other goblins that are coming down the hill at that point, they actually all come to a screaming stop outside of your range, or at least outside of melee range. So anyone who wants to take a melee attack potentially could, as these goblins go, fuck no, we're out of here. And they're chattering to each other in goblin, and they turn around, and they turn off and start running into the forest.
How
Adric
far are
does
they?
want to take a swing at one of the ones retreating.
Okay. That's melee range, though. They're not in melee range.
Oh, I apologize. I misunderstood.
They're in,
How far are they from us, and how far apart are they from each other?
they're about 10 to 15 feet apart from one another, and they're about 40 feet away from you right now. As they
Fireball them.
fireball them. Okay. Alright, you might only get 2 though, because there's not that many within the range of a fireball. How big is the fireball's range?
20 foot.
20 feet? Yeah, you'd get 2. You could get 2.
I get 2?
You could get 2.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Save the slot.
Yeah, I've not used my staff before, so yes, it's worth it.
Alright. Do your fireball.
Uh,
Is it a saving throw for me?
let me just have a look. Let me find it. Yeah, Dex DC 14.
Dex DC 14. First one fails. Second one also fails. So they take the full blast of the fireball, which is what, 66 fire damage? Am I correct?
I need to roll it.
Fireball. So Leith basically starts summoning this huge fireball and casts it off ahead of him. It goes pouring through the trees, lighting up a huge area with this massive red flame. Oh my goodness, 41 points of damage. He annihilates these 2 little poor goblins who are just completely vaporized as if they were standing in front of a nuclear blast. Their skin just melts off them, their flesh just burns. Everything on them. You're muted, Steve.
Oh, this is quite good, isn't it?
The problem that you are now noticing, however, Steve, is that, or Leith should I say, is that the trees are kind of on fire. It's beginning to spread.
I don't think that fire thing is such a good idea sometimes, you know.
Leaves are just...
wind and or rain.
You see
My
the
fire-
little
am I
embers
close enough to put
floating
it
up
out
in
with
the
the cone
air
of cold?
now. Hmm?
Am I close enough to put it out with a cone of cold?
With a cone of cold. Well, what's the range on a cone of cold?
60 foot.
You're close enough. How wide is the cone?
I don't know if I want to use this though, because it's going to give me more charges on my stuff. Crap. Sorry, what was the question?
How wide is the cone? Just need to do a quick sound check while you're doing that. Have to make sure that our viewers are hearing premium sound.
Oh,
The 60-foot cone.
the
yes,
cone is
yes.
60 foot.
Cone is 60 feet.
How
Okay,
does
so it's
that
60
work?
feet in length, but how is that the same as the width?
It's a cone, so it kind of goes out.
Okay, so 60 to 60 by 60 at the end. Okay, I get
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, actually that is big enough to do something. I'll tell you what,
Okay.
can you do your cold damage roll, and if it's more than 40, you can put it out.
49.
All right.
Hey!
All right. Suddenly everything that was just a moment ago on fire is covered in ice and dripping with icicles, and it's all very pretty, and the light changes around it and how it catches the morning light of Solum Pingal as it rises above the tree line, casting these god rays through the trees in the morning mist.
This is rather good, isn't it? And Leith holds up the staff and is
Nothing
like,
quite like a good morning.
All right.
I should
Marvelous work, Leith.
I should probably not use it so often though, because it does seem to use up. I can feel some power, like it needs.
We can go
some
ice
energy.
skating now. We can go ice skating.
In the trees, on the trees.
I don't know. I'll give it a go. It's the first time I've done it. Mind
Can you
ya,
freeze the lake?
gotta have breakfast first, you know.
I mean, the traditional way to ice skate is on a lake.
I
but
do miss
didn't-
the snow, I must admit. Snow is something I do miss quite a bit, so I wouldn't mind some ice skating of sorts.
Leith, could you freeze the lake?
Quite pretty.
I'm not sure. That I
That's
could
the
fully
worst that could happen.
freeze the
I
lake.
don't think they'd be very happy with us freezing the lake, you know.
It'll melt.
I mean, they
Not
barely
the
like
whole
us
lake.
here as it is, you know.
Just a 50-foot, just a 60-foot portion of the lake.
Who needs to skate more than 60 feet, really?
Exactly.
It may arouse suspicion, though.
But wouldn't that just
True.
be
Th-
wouldn't
is it-
that just be casting a large iceberg on the lake, and it would probably sink if one of us stood on it?
Isn't there supposed to be a secret island, though?
That's the point of the mist. The mist is thick enough that if it hides an island, it'll hide a smooth
That's
ice
the
ring.
island
we may
that
have-
we're standing on, Milford.
Yeah, we may have missed the point on that.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Anyway, let us go and have breakfast.
Aye, breakfast time.
Oh, yes,
Breakfast.
great idea.
All right, so
definitely
you
feeling hungry now.
return. You return back to the camp by the beach, among the pavilions and the small round tents, and you can smell the smells of cooking and such going on from the wood campfire, and you are served a delicious and hearty breakfast by the various servants of the servants of the servants of the fox. There you go. How does that sound? And thus it is all laid out upon a big table outside. I lie. Actually, no, it is. And there's a tent put up over the top of the table to keep the mist and the rain off you guys. Isn't that nice? And there are the dulcet tones of a lute being played in the background as you are having your breakfast and having it served. At which point, Maith comes out from his pavilion in your direction, bearing his staff once more. And he comes across to you all, and he says, I understand you have performed the task that I assigned to you this morning at sunrise.
Yes.
The goblins were well and properly shooed.
Very good. Thank you. These tasks are such that we do not all have time for them, but they seem to be coming back with more regularity. Now, I have a request of you all, that you have been here for 3 days now. I think it's been 3 days. I'm pretty sure it's 3 days out of game.
I think we've only had a long rest.
Have you?
We've only had one long rest here, haven't we? Because
We
we arrived.
caused some shit, went into the woods, had a fight, had a nap.
Okay. So you've been here for a day. Play, cut, paste, edit. Alright. You've been here for long enough. I should ask that you take the oath of the servants of the fox. Are you each and all prepared to do so?
I am very much so.
Mr. Brixton, I understand you had some reservations earlier, but I understand that you have come to allow them to pass.
A man's got to help his cousin out, you know, when he can.
Very good. Lady Goodale, you have your own reservations, I know. Your family have contentions with the servants of the fox, but you have come to learn new things. How do you stand? Will you take the oath?
I believe the King Braegan would probably be best for Sidariel. So yes.
Mr. Montcoff?
I turn to Adric and ask him, Dwarvish, what do you think about this 70 fox stuff?
Maith says to you in Dwarvish at that point. He responds. He says, perhaps you, Mr. Edrin, and you, Mr. you, Mr. Montcoff, and you, Mr. Fogdar, perhaps you two would like to speak with me down by the beach for a few minutes before you make your decision.
Or further inland would also be appropriate.
Of
He makes a
course,
good point.
of course, inland. Maith, remembering your fear of the open water and the deep. Very good. Mr. Montcoff, we shall head further inland then to discuss. He says that last sentence out in common tongue, so you can all understand what he says then. When I return with these two, we shall all take this oath together, assuming that these two have made the decision. If not, they will step aside. Is that reasonable to all?
Aye.
Agreeable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good then.
Oh, yeah.
So he begins walking inland. Straight out of the tent, he just starts walking.
Adric trots after him.
All
Better
right.
follow. Yes, I'll
Yep.
follow the two of them.
So Maith turns to you, Adric, as you're walking, and he says, "So, Mr. Fogdar, tell me what might be your reservations."
Honestly, I don't have anything I'm particularly holding me back. I'm just not entirely sure that the servants of the Fox and King Braegan will help me reach my goals. Now, I'm all for a good king, for a better world for children, but I'm undecided for the moment.
I have a
He has my
question
respect.
for you, Mr. Fogdar, if you would care to answer this question. What exactly, and please do not take this as any personal affront, because I understand that you were not there. What exactly did the dwarves of the Barachiel do at the time Grumpsh launched his weapon Parkard at Sidarial, and the moon was destroyed, and Sahanine Moonbow, Our Lady, Love, Light, Liberty... And he goes silent at the end. What did the dwarves do?
Michael actually has no idea. Can I roll history to see if Adric would know?
You can make a history check, please, yes.
Thank you.
It's only fair, seeing as
That
we've
is
never...
a 20.
A 20. Well, Adric, you're quite aware that the dwarves burrowed deeper into the mountains, and they ran away because the whole thing was all very terrifying and they didn't want to die.
Well, if my memory is correct, we burrowed and we hid from the comet.
I see. Do you remember, and I suppose you do not, perhaps you are aware of how it was that Corellon Lorathian and Sahanine Moonbow offered to Moradin and the dwarves a safe haven here in Sidariel after the time of the Dawn War? In the formation of the world when the giants and the dragons ruled here. It was the elves that brought you here first and gave you this world to inhabit.
Perhaps I.
Aye.
But you're severely misjudging me if you think the dealings of gods are going to sway me particularly.
Oh. Perhaps. But I feel that it is the dwarven... I am aware of the curse of the Barachiel, Adric.
Well, I'm sure you are.
Do you know why that curse exists?
Honestly, that's kind of why I'm not in my tunnels right now.
Well, perhaps I've just given you the answer.
So, you're telling me a god is to blame?
I'm telling you that the curse that the dwarves suffer in the mountains of the Barachiel is the result directly of their failure to intervene or to act on behalf of the goddess who gave them their sanctuary here in this world. And that if that curse was to be broken, the means to do so would be to assist with the restoration of the deity, her lady Sehanine Moonbow of the elves.
So,
Is redemption something that you might seek, Mr. Fogdahl? Either
Redemption,
individually
of
or
course.
as a race of
I
species?
have done nothing, and I watched children suffer. People have done nothing.
There
And
comes a
God is
point,
just
Mr.
a
Fogdahl,
God
when
is
you
just
need to stop
decide-
blaming all the other individuals and take some responsibility and pick up your axe or your hammer and do what is right and what must be done to restore what has been broken.
Master Maith, why do you think I left my tunnels with my hammer?
I'm giving you
I
the
came out
opportunity
to
right
fix
now.
This.
I have told you the way.
So, supplication or damnation it is.
There will always be rewards, Adric. Surely you realize that your destiny has led you here. You did not come here by accident, with a ship full of treasure. Look at you, look at the weapons that you bear.
You've put me in a difficult place. Fine. Fine.
If you do these things, Adric, do you not think that Sehanine may find it in her heart to restore to you what has been lost?
Fine. She get what she wants. But I'm holding that personally. And I don't care so much about myself. I'll find a way to hurt her if she takes us away. I have nothing to lose. I hope you understand that.
These are fair words, Mr. Fogdahl. Fair
So-
words indeed.
If securing the future puts your king on his throne, that's fine. I'll do it. I'll build the damn thing myself.
I imagine it will bring you all sorts of other benefits. Fear not. You will be justly rewarded. We will need the assistance of the dwarves at some point. You may be the one to commune. We shall see. I know I put an awful lot upon you, Mr. Fogdahl, and for that I do apologize. It is not my choice. I too am in a position where destiny and the movements of planets, the collision of planes, have forced me into this situation now. This is much
Aye.
bigger than you might even believe.
Well, if there's one thing that I'm capable of understanding, it's scale. So, everyone gets what they want. Everyone gets what they want.
Let me ask you this one last thing, Mr. Fogdahl.
Aye?
Is there anything that I can do to serve you, to take some of the roughness from this cloth that you must bear?
No. No, I chose this myself. Never bowed, nor bent, but beautifully broken.
Maith goes down on his knee in front of you, and he says, I salute you, Mr. Fogdahl. Your choice is most admirable, and what you do here will save many lives.
That's all I ask. That's all I ask. And Adric kneels in front of him as well.
Adrian, what are you doing through this whole conversation? You've managed to be the witness.
Listening. Just listening.
Okay. All right.
He's a good listener.
All right. So Maith stands back to his feet and nods to you, Adric. He says, "Then we shall return to the others, and we shall commence with the oath."
Idrin, do you have any misgivings?
Not exactly sure what I'm oathing myself to. That was the main thing. I'm not exactly keen to join a club that I'm not 100% sure I know what the club is about.
That's fair and reasonable.
That is a fair and reasonable question also, Mr. Monkoff. Very well, let me answer it. This so-called club that you mentioned, this order, the Servants of the Fox, let me tell you its purpose. Its purpose, first and foremost, is to restore the bloodline of the Erothani to the throne of Sidariel Tularathion. For they have, over the many centuries and millennia since the Second Age began, protected the world as the most direct bloodline of the primal elves. And thank you, Wildheart, for your subscription, you beautiful human being. That is their first. Greetings, Gotus Gaming. Howdy to you too. Thank you. Nice to have you. I shall stay in character though. Please excuse me. It's very intense role-playing right now. And don't forget to use your divinity, folks. That is true. Okay, now the question at hand Adrian was asking was, what is the club that he's joining? Right. So, the Servants of the Fox. Thusly, we intend to restore the bloodline of the Erothani to the throne of Highbrook, also known as Hemethtireth to the elves. For we believe that Galandahl Braegan Erothani, our future king, the young man that you have met in the camp already, will serve us and our needs more appropriately than the usurper king, Ivran, who has till now been taking our ancestral magic and using it for his own dastardly ends, along with the annihilation of his bloodline, so that he alone can rule and there can be no contest. That is our primary interest, Mr. Monkoff. Do you have any more specific questions?
Yes. What if, I guess really two questions. Number one, what happens after you remove Ivran? It's a very good goal to have to replace Ivran with Braegan, but after that there must be some sort of, I don't know what, if you've got a wider plan for Sidariel other than just make it as once great as it used to be with the previous king on.
These are excellent questions, Mr. Monkoff. Indeed, we should hope to restore peace to the world. The Golden Age that we call the Second Age is what you might consider the kind of blueprint of that era that we hope to restore. We also hope to send our minions, no, that's not the right word, out of game, sorry. What is the word he's looking for? Our emissaries, there you go, perfect. We intend to send our emissaries to Parkard and to the Angkor Ma'ak Empire, whereupon we will seek to understand the state of the other half of the world which none have seen for millennia. We would seek to unite the human kingdoms once more, for they are disparate and unsettled. Ivran is not a good king for human relations.
Well, humans aren't good for the human relations, so I respect you wanting to unite them together so they don't eat themselves alive.
Yes, Mr. Monkoff, that may be true, and I cannot argue your point. However, I can say that under King Durian, the humans of all creeds were far more settled. They had far fewer shall we say, conflicts.
Yes, I can. I think I can agree to that. Following up on the Ungor Mark, I would actually myself be very interested in helping front that. I speak Orcish, and I'm very interested to document what life has been like for them since the Parkard, considering, as you said, we haven't heard from them since the facts, and it seems like most of the information we've got from them is coming from Everin, which is hardly a reliable source. But finally, what happens if something happens to Braegan? I mean, the cause to remove Everin is good and just, but
he has a sister.
A sister. Very good. You've got a... Glad to hear that you've got a contingency in case something negative happens to your
But we must
figurehead, your
protect
leader.
him, of course. Both of them.
Very good. I think my
So
qualms are...
I believe I have answered your first questions, but I think that there are questions that you have not yet considered. They include perhaps our methods. How do we intend to do these things? Shall I answer that?
Well, in terms of getting rid of Ivran?
Amongst other things, yes. Yes, primarily this.
Yes. Well, if you have them readily, I am more than happy to listen to them, though your methods.
Well, we will use any methods available to us. We will raise armies, but among them, we are seeking the assistance of an orc woman by the name of Kagi Mingal. She is a barbarian tribeswoman of the Ungor Mark. It is said that she gathers women of all races and creeds in the plains of Kobandur to the north. There they gather and they seek to destroy the patriarchies of all. I'm curious whether she can be purchased or bought. Then she can be turned to used for our purposes.
If I may ask, why Braegan over his sister? Is there a specific birth order or age difference that would make putting Braegan over his sister?
His sister is of a temperament that leads her to be less inclined to deal with the everyday comings and goings of the populace.
Right. I can respect that. It is rather a drag on looking after things.
Yes.
That was right.
So it is our desire to make various allegiances and alliances and other such connections with various factions and peoples about the worlds. Thus, we shall have an opportunity to usurp the usurper.
And maybe other usurpers. Sort out other...
There are
seems
many usurpers in many lands, Mr. Montcoff. You yourself, I understand, are somewhat put out by one yourself.
Yes, I suppose so. I guess it's just, I liked the idea of what you said, reuniting the humans. That would be... They squabble and fight and kill each other rather stupidly over petty things, and I think having the longevity of elves guide them would help them see a bigger picture compared to their very narrowed view of less than a century.
Very well. So now, Mr. Montcoff, my lord Montcoff, do you feel inclined to take this oath?
Yes, I think I am.
Very good. Then we shall return to the camp. Well enough?
Aye.
Very good. So you guys go walking back to the camp. You come back in amongst the others. What are you guys doing? Are you still eating? You getting your third helping of whatever is for breakfast presently?
I like this porridge. It's not bad at all. Really. It's only my fourth helping.
Yes, I can see that you're enjoying it. What do you think they're discussing out there in the woods?
Oh, you know, he's probably appealing to their better natures. And trying to give them purpose. I would be if I was him.
I do hope that they see reason. Yes.
I agree.
Oh, well, even if they don't, though I'd miss them, they gotta make their own choice, don't they? It's like me, putting sugar on me porridge or not, it's up to me. I like this brown stuff,
I'd rather have it nice and simply, but it is tasty, yes.
Oh, Leith, I've noticed you're taking charge more. I can retire. I can retire if you, take charge like that.
Well, you do keep saying that you're going to, so I thought I should possibly step up, but I do feel like this is my, how would humans say it?
You're calling.
My element, yes.
Your element. Okay.
Or my calling, yes.
Yes, no, I'm quite pleased to see you taking charge. Yes, it means my retirement's coming up. Okay.
New staff of yours is most impressive, Leith.
Just,
thank you. Yes, it rather surprised me in how powerful it was, so I might step back from using it quite so much, yes.
Galandahl, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
What will you do if you, say the fox has to, how can I put it? Sweetheart, let me put it this way. Liquidate your father with prejudice. How would you take that?
I beg your pardon, if my father is prejudiced?
No. I said, say the fox decided.
Braegan walks in at that point, and he says, I believe what Mr. Brixton is saying to you, my lady Galandahl, is how would you feel if you had to liquidate your father with prejudice? If you were required to murder him?
Oh. I see.
You do understand that your father, Ilandor Talandaran, is the head of the Black Guard. The Black Guard who plagues us. They plague our efforts. They burn villages and towns. They kill townsfolk. They take our ancestral magic, and they plague us.
Yes, he's not been good for the world.
He is
And
the
in truth,
right-hand man.
He's not been good for my siblings either. He's completely blinded us to reality.
Quite.
I If it had to be tomorrow, I'm not sure I could do it, but perhaps I can build up to it, as it were.
Build
Does
up
that make
to it.
sense?
I think I understand your meaning, milady, yes. And I should say to you that I would hope that this never came to pass, that perhaps you can find another way. Perhaps he can be turned.
That would be ideal.
That would be ideal, I feel. That rhymed. I didn't realize that until I said it. Okay, these guys come wandering back. Maith comes in, his red robes, his eyes covered with red material wrapped around behind him, and his staff just glows, this big red stone in it glowing. Followed by Adric and Edrin. And Maith says, have you finished your morning duties and your meals?
Yes, I believe so.
Come then, we have serious business to attend.
Very, very good.
He begins moving towards one of the pavilion tents, and you can hear there's this bell going in the background every few seconds. Ding, 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 and you smell incense as you enter into this tent in single file. And about the tent, you notice everybody is standing around in a very ceremonial kind of a fashion. There's candles and, as I said, incense. There's what looks like some sort of priest. Galandahl, you realize she's a cleric of a similar description to the Daughters of Twilight, but she is obviously of a different order. And she swings a censer very gently back and forth in time with the chiming of the bell. And Maith says to you, I am going to read the oath, and I should hope that each of you will repeat after me each line. Do you understand?
Yes.
Where you are required to say a name, you will say your own name. That will be near the beginning. It should not be difficult to understand the point at which this will be required. It will be in the first line of the oath. Is that understood? Very good.
Yes, my liege.
So then, repeat after me. Now, out of game. I wrote this afternoon. I haven't had much chance to edit it, so hopefully it's good enough. Please
All good, Russell.
enjoy my terrible oath writing. Maith says, I, Imral Maith Ellassadril,
I, Galandahl Braegan,
I, Adric Fogda,
I, Leith Mystralath.
What's my real name? I haven't used it so much.
your
That,
full name. I would have to look it up, and I'm not going to, so...
yeah, but I say that.
Okay, so it is, I think it's Milford something, bloody blah, Brixton or something. In fact, it's not Brixton, because that's not your name.
Idris lol.
Yeah. Okay. And finally,
I, Edrin Stywell Krinovich Motkoth.
all right. And from here on in, you can all repeat together, okay? As a group. All right?
Are we putting our hands over our heart, or?
You can do if you like, or you can put your, you can go like this. No, just kidding. If you want to make up something like that, that's fine, as you will. So the oath continues. Here in the presence of the servants of the Fox,
Yeah.
Here in the presence
of
the
servants
servants
of the Fox,
representatives of the Seldarine, the primal elves,
representatives of the Seldarine,
the primal
elves,
in the name of Corellon Larathian,
in the
name of
Corellon
Larathian,
whose eye watches over us,
whose
whose
eye
eye
over
watches
us,
over us.
In his image, Solum Pingal,
In
his image, Solum
Pingal.
the bright sun above.
The bright
The bright
sun
sun
above.
above.
And in the name of his lost love,
And
And
in the
name
name
of
of
his
his
lost
lost
love.
love,
Sehenin Moonbow,
Sehenin Moonbow.
the shattered disc who has been reborn as Ida Solum,
the shattered
Shattered disc that has been reborn as
Ida
Ida
Solum.
Solum.
Solda,
the fairy star.
The
fairy
fairy
star.
star.
I hereby vow to protect this land,
I hereby vow
I vow to protect this land.
its beasts and its flowers,
its
Its
beasts
beasts
and its flowers,
its people,
its people,
Its
Its
people.
people.
and all that is good in nature,
and
all
all
that
that
is
is good
good
in
that is
nature.
in nature.
mortal and fey,
Mortal and fey.
from evil,
From
From
evil.
evil.
from tyranny and corruption,
from tyranny,
Tyranny
and
and
corruption.
corruption.
from fiends
from fiends,
From fiends.
and the undead,
and the
And the
undead,
undead.
from the monstrosities of chaos,
From the
From
the monstrosities of
chaos.
Chaos.
and the slavers from the deep,
And the
and
slavers
Slavers
of the deep.
from the deep.
from disease,
from disease,
From disease.
famine,
Famine.
war,
War.
and other acts of evil gods,
And the other acts
Other
of evil
acts of
gods.
evil gods.
in the name of Solanor Thalandira.
In the name
In the name of Solanor
Thalandira.
Thalandira.
May the arrow of my aspiration be true.
may the
May the arrow of my aspiration be true.
I vow here in the presence of the servants of the fox
I
I vow here
Here in the
in the
presence of the
presence
servants
of
of
the
the
fox,
to uphold the will of Corellon,
to
uphold the will
will
of
of
Corellon.
Corellon,
that his, and then at the same time as you say his, some of the other servants in the room say her, making it somewhat ambiguous, that his
That his
that his
avatar shall be
or her
made manifest,
be manifest,
Shall be made
avatar shall be
manifest.
manifest.
as it always has,
As it
as it
Always
always
has.
through the elder kings and queens
through the
through the elder
elder
kings
queens
and queens
of Sidariel to Larathian,
of
Sidariel
Sidariel
to the Rathian.
Rathian.
Durian,
Dorian.
Durian.
Vandar,
Vandar,
Tainarin,
Hinaran,
Narin.
Irandrar,
Irandra.
Elthark,
Alpha.
Braegan,
Braegan,
Edrim,
Idrim.
Imdalas,
Imdalas,
Gilan,
Gila.
Ulan.
Usanor,
Usanor,
Bielar,
Bielar,
Jaros,
Neros.
Eros.
and Melisanda Erothani.
And
Melisanda
Erothani.
Now we give love and thanks to the Seldarine,
Now we give
Now
we
give love and thanks
to the Seldarine.
Corellon Larathian for his sympathy, love, and thanks,
Corellon Larathion for his sympathy and thanks.
And thanks.
Sehenin Moonbow to restore her vessel to the world,
Sehenin Moonbow to restore her
Restore
vessel to the
Vessel to the
world.
world.
Rilifane Ralathil,
Rilithane,
Rathril.
connection to all things, nexus of all life and consciousness,
Connection
Connection to all
Connection
things,
to all
nexus to
things,
consciousness and life.
And life.
Fenmerel Mesterine,
Imral Maith
Mystery.
whose sly gifts we must employ to survive,
Sly
By
gifts
gifts we must
must
employ
employ
to
to
survive.
survive,
and to Solanor Thalandira,
and to
And
solve
to
Solonor
Solanor Thalandira.
Thalandira.
that the arrow of our aspiration may be true.
That the
That the
arrow
Arrow
of
of
our
our
aspiration
aspiration
may be
true.
Very well. Arise, servants of the fox. And Maith turns and walks from the room.
Oh, is oh,
Braegan nods
That's-
to you all.
my liege.
You have all done well, thank you. Your allegiance here will not be forgotten. I will be sure to be a good king to you all. I shall do my utmost to bring peace to the world of Sidariel. I am deeply moved by your plight and your pledges to me. I hope only that I can live up to your... Thank you. Thank you, he says, and he leaves.
Thank you, my lord.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
Long live the king, say many, and follow you. Thank you, Galandahl. You can have an aspiration for that. That's great. All right. So you'll head out of the tent, having taken your oath. And wow, I'm quite emotional, actually. Weirdly enough. Is that weird?
No, you put your heart and soul into that. That's okay.
Okay, so what do? You leave the tent, and Maith has returned back to his own tent on the other side of the camp. Braegan stands there before you. He says you are dismissed if you wish. If you have things that you must do, I understand you are intending to seek shelter among the Astorian ruins, the far side of the island.
Yes, perhaps we could look at beginning to clear them.
I need to go and lay off some steam.
Yeah,
I need to go and do a little something. I've got a concoction I want to put together.
Very well. Perhaps you should all gather in an hour or so before your next mission. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So you guys head out of the tent, I assume, and go and do your things, to collect your belongings and what have you, and do what must be done in order to be prepared for your next outing. Is that true? Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody have anything specifically that they would like to get done during this period?
Galandahl's feeling a bit spiritually inclined at the moment, so she's going to go and contemplate her deity and, I guess, meditate a bit.
Yeah, Leith
Not really
is-
trance time, but yeah.
Leith is going to go and take a short rest and commune with Tozen.
Right. Well, curiously enough, you feel Tozen's presence about you. The great hoofs of this giant black stallion-like unicorn, as he kind of appears in your own personal vision out of the mists about the tent that you are staying in. You can see his silhouette move along the wall of the tent. And this all sort of happens in a fraction of a second, and there's a sound of lightning, or thunder, should I say, as you realize that he's right next to you.
Oh,
Mystralath.
yes. Is everything to your satisfaction?
Excellently to my satisfaction, Mystralath. You have done well.
I am pleased because I believe Braegan to be the rightful king.
He is the only king.
Oh, I see. I have gone my own direction, but I may have been pushed by fate.
Fate, yes.
I see. Is there anything else you wish me to achieve, my lord?
Soon, Mystralath, you will return to the Underdark. There is
Yeah,
something you need to find.
Yes, the Underdark is the plan. May I know what I need to find?
Be not afraid of the matriarchs of Abnog Gur.
Matriarchs of Abnog-Gur. The matriarchs of Abnog-Gur.
They will not
Yes.
touch you, Mystralath. You have my mark upon you.
Oh. May I...
Know this. If they touch your flesh, they curse themselves.
May I command them?
Nothing such as this.
I see. This is good to know and useful.
That will be all for now.
Thank you, my lord.
And as he retires from you, you feel this burning sensation on the back of your neck.
Oh,
And you smell searing flesh.
do I feel anything there?
You feel a burn mark. You feel something there. You're not quite sure what it is.
I'm going to run to wherever we're staying and find a mirror.
All right. Yep, there's a mirror on a stand near the door of the tent that you're staying in. Your current. Yep.
I'll do what I can to take a look.
You're trying to see in the mirror, and you're looking over your shoulder, and you can make a dexterity check. So for those of you in the audience who don't know this, Leith is a celestial warlock and Tozen is his patron. Everybody thinks Tozen is a unicorn, but Tozen is actually a key wren. But shh, don't tell anybody.
I rolled a 16 for my dex check.
16 for your dex check. All right, you managed to get this. You see there's this circle, and it's got this dot in it, and it's got these wavy lines coming out from the dot to the edge of the circle. You can't quite make out what it looks like, but there's definitely a mark there that you didn't know was there before. It's black. It looks like a tattoo or a branding.
Interesting. Ow.
My embarrassingly loud keyboard. Excuse me. Right. So, what happens? What do you do, Leith Mystralath?
I sit down and I practice the meditation that Galandahl has taught me.
Okay, very
and
good.
Focus in on the on this new mark
Okay.
on the back of my neck.
Very good then.
Try to figure out what it is.
All right. So I'll get you to make an Arcana check, and I'll come back to you. Milford, what are you doing?
I am making poison.
Right, I thought you might be. So you're taking the newly found ingredients that you've obtained, and you're mixing that poison that you've been meaning to do for quite some time now.
Oh, yes.
All right, so you have got 3 doses of that poison, and I've added them to your character sheet already, because I'm
Okay.
just that kind of DM. All right, very good. Adric.
On his way out of the tent, way back in time, Adric's gonna walk up to Eden and pat him on the thigh and, Eden, do me a favor. And, what happened back then? It stays between the 3 of us, right?
Of course, yes. I wouldn't discuss it with anyone without first addressing you, nor fully understanding what it all means. I caught references, but I am not entirely sure of the full story. But I also understand that is up to you whether you indulge me now or later, whatever is right for you.
In time. For now, I need to think about all of this, and I need to
Of course.
hit something. And Adric's going to walk off in the general direction of the giant calendar.
Oh, right, the calendar, the standing stones that you found the time when you first arrived on the island. Okay,
Yeah.
so Adric, you go wandering off among the trees and the blades of grass up to your sort of shoulders, basically, and they're kind of waving in the morning breeze. You see a few insects zipping around. This bee comes over to you, and it sort of circles you and circles you again, and then it circles you a third time, and then it zooms off again into the grass. And you're standing among the standing stones.
He's gonna stand there in silence for a moment. He's gonna grab his large hammer of thunderbolts, and as he pulls it out of its shaft, he's going to enlarge. And he's going to swing at the nearest, biggest rock.
So when we say rock, are we talking about rock or like Astorian relic rock?
Yes, the rock, the relic.
Okay. As you... Okay, so you enlarge, and you start walking towards this massive relic, this huge menhir, and with each step that you take, you gain another foot, and you unfurl this huge hammer from your shoulder, and you begin to swing it around to take on this rock. And you notice the clouds begin to gather, and the light darkens around you. And you swing at the relic, and I want you to roll an attack, basically, with your hammer.
Huzzah. That is a 24.
24. Very good. You don't need to roll damage. You hit it and you smash it, and shards fly everywhere. Along with a little spark of lightning that comes off it, there's this arc of lightning begins to form from the end of the hammer into the stump of the stone that's there, and you're holding it. It's literally just staying there for a long moment.
I'm just gonna like sit in that moment, feel that lightning coursing up it, and I'm just gradually pull it away, and I'm going to scream. I'm just going to scream into the heavens, scream at the lightning and the thunder.
All right, and at the top of your lungs and at the top of your scream, there's this discharge. Boom! And all of the grass around you was just blown back. And it's flattened like a frickin' alien landing ship had been there, like a crop circle.
And as
Everything goes silent.
I think that's probably where the scene ends there. I'm just gonna stand in my silence, stand in the devastation.
Yeah. All right, very good. Okay, Idrin.
I am going to be studying, actually, for a roughly
Yeah.
Oh, I've already had a long rest, so I would have already done that. Never mind.
Well, you could mix it in as part of your long rest if you want. Flavor.
Part of my long rest, I will, first of all, because during my long rest, I will have transmuted Tup from bat form, and I've turned him now into a little badger, a little honey badger.
Okay.
And he's curled up on my lap, and I'm stroking him as I just kind of start continue to study my arcane grimoire.
Okay.
And looking at the notes and the strange notes and what are they called? Not amendices, or people writing in the
Right.
in the margins and stuff like that, and seeing what previously has been written before I picked it up.
Well, it's kind of interesting. The thing that you notice, can you make an Arcana check for me, actually?
Of course I can. Arcana. Roll! Natural 20 for a 27.
A natural 20 for a 27. Wow. Okay. I'm just looking for a name right now in my book of magic names where I have a name written down, which is not popping up for me, but I know you've got it in your notes.
Oh,
here we
is
go.
it
Here we go. All right. So the name Zabasius Israel Darian appears on the page that you were looking at, amongst a bunch of other stuff. There's a note there regarding him. And what was your roll? Was it 21 or something? Was it
27?
27. Wow. Okay. You notice that this page appears to be a fragment of a carbon copy of a page that you read. You're for sure you read this in the book, the Necronomicon, the book of dead names, the book of twisted skin, the book of faces, whatever you want to call that book that you found in the Ostorian ruins beneath Vaingate so many days ago that has been haunting your sleep for the last few nights. A page from that book has appeared here. And it refers to the making of the phylactery. And yes, thank you, Steffi James, for following. You beautiful person.
Ooh. Does it give details, or is it just a general? This is what a phylactery is. Don't do this. Don't do that. Does it go into specific details, or is it just kind of a page one? This is a guide.
It speaks of the phylactery as a thing. 27, so you know what a phylactery is, and you realize that is the place that a lich stores its soul and from which it can return. It talks about building a phylactery that is of such power that it can store multiple souls within it, causing them to merge, if you like, into a kind of hive, a kind of super lich phylactery. It's very dangerous, expensive, and difficult.
Yes, at that point, Edrin shuts the book and spends about 5 or 10 minutes in silence before he conjures up a little stick with a string of yarn and starts dangling it over Tup, and Tup starts going at it like a cat, even though he's a badger. He starts going at the string.
All right.
And I just sit playing with Tup for the remainder of the long rest. Short rest.
Very
Short
good.
rest.
No problem. All right, and I think we shall take a short rest ourselves, seeing as it's 8:38. We'll take a 5-minute break and come back for part 2. So we'll see you all guys back here in 5 minutes, and we'll just be AFK for not very long. So don't leave. We'll be back. We love you. Of course. All right. And where's my AFK button? Here it is. Goodbye. See you soon.
and then maybe Milford's a
There you go.
a
And we're
stalker to get
live.
something.
So, welcome back. Thank you for bearing with us during our short rest there. It was not an official short rest. It was a rather unofficial short rest. Milford Brixton will be back momentarily, so we shall continue with who we have presently. So, Galandahl, what are you doing now?
Well, I've finished.
Here he is, the man himself.
Galandahl's finished giving thanks to Sehanine Moonbow and reflecting on the new vows that she's taken. And she's gone to find the rest of the team.
Right. And so where are the rest of the team? I know Milford's busy making poison concoctions in his tent presently. So there's that.
Do we all have separate tents?
Well, I was thinking actually it was a pavilion, and there would be different parts of that tent that you would each have a section of it, to be fair.
Okay.
So, yeah. So Milford's busy crushing things and mixing things and blah-de-blah. Idrin, you're studying your book. Adric, you're standing out in the field, but you're walking back now, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I've got. Okay, it's about an hour. I suppose I should go back. So
Okay.
I'm trudging back now.
Very good then, Adric. You come back to find Leith in his tent, looking in the mirror. I'm trying to get an angle on himself in the mirror.
You're right there. You need to handle anything.
Yeah, no, I'm quite all right.
You sure? You're looking quite concerned.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
What are you doing with your hand?
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay. You sure
it's-
you're fine? You're a bit.
No, it's all
jumpy.
good. It's all good. Thank you.
Okay. As long as you're sure. He's just hanging out by the door, just like, you sure don't need anything? Yeah,
No,
you sure? I'm right here.
no, I'll be perfectly fine. Thank you.
I didn't ask if
Goodale,
you
you
were
see
fine. I
this
asked if you're good.
conversation going on.
Oh, if there's anything we need, not that I know of. Is there anything you need, Mr. Edric?
Many things, but don't worry about me. Goodale! Goodale!
I hope.
Hello, there you are.
Leith! Something's wrong with Leith.
I
Oh.
trust that the.
Leith, are you all right?
Oh, yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
So Idrin and Barry and Milford, I should say, you guys overhear this as well.
Something's wrong with Leith?
I don't know. He's a
I'll
bit.
be
he's a bit-
right there.
He
Don't
was
you be
he was
worried.
jumpy, and he was covering his neck.
He's always jumpy. No,
Were
offense.
you
All
injured?
Jumpy.
That's
rather
mine.
Did the
rather
goblins
nervous
do
man.
something to you?
No.
Well, Leith,
I'm
are you
fine.
all right, mate? Are you?
Look, I'm fine. All right. Just I'm just trying to deal with the day and get on with things as best I can. There's nothing wrong with my neck, and
What do you mean? What do you mean? Nothing wrong with your neck? Let me have a look. I want to be sure about this. Are you sure there's nothing wrong with your neck? And he comes over to look at your neck.
no, please.
Goodale's encroaching
Everything's
on him
fine.
too.
What are you trying to hide, my friend?
Nothing.
There's nothing you can hide, you know. And I'm trying to bend round and have a look at his neck.
You make a
This is
perception, a wisdom and an investigation check, please.
Everyone?
Yeah, and everybody that's trying to see his neck.
Okay.
I'm still by the door, so
I could try as well.
Well, you could make some sort of dexterity sort of
I almost feel like
stealth
it's a
check.
strength check.
a strength check to twist your head
Got a
around.
17 on my investigation.
What did you want it to be?
I don't think you can turn your head around that far, Leith.
Oh, it's more a strength check to grab the back of my neck
Oh, and just cover it.
and cover it, and so no one can.
Okay, so
move
it's
it.
like it's a grapple check, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a contested grapple check. So who's it against? Who's
Whoever's-
Milford?
well,
I think
whoever's the closest, probably Milford.
Milford was the one who was in there first. Okay, so
Yeah.
Milford, I want you to make an athletics strength athletics check. You're, also, you're on mute right now.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Oh, yes!
I've got mute,
That's
Barry.
amazing.
I didn't do anything yet,
Didn't-
and it did it.
Did it? That
Yes.
doesn't make
It
sense.
did it by itself.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's the investigation check, not the strength
Okay,
check.
so the investigation
I
check.
got 23 for the investigation.
What?
Yes.
That's
It's showing us an
Scroll up,
eight.
it
showing
does
us
say
an
23.
8. It shows
I'm
us
seeing
an 8.
8.
If you scroll
And
up
I got an 8
above
for the
me.
strength check.
What?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
an
see.
8.
Scroll up above me, it says 23.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what's
Okay.
going on there because I'm seeing an 8 for a investigation check and a 7 for a strength check.
There is one a bit
No,
further.
no.
Yeah, there's one further up.
There's
I
a
got-
23 about 2 minutes ago.
I got 23 for the
Okay.
investigation.
All right, I'll give you that, but I think I need you guys to roll your strength checks again. They're too close to work out, and I don't know what's going on with the D&D Beyond dice roller right now. So, just try it again, please.
Me as well.
Strength.
Yeah, both of you, please. Sorry, that was a bit of a screw up
Glitch.
somewhere.
Oh, even
Okay,
worse.
that's more. like it.
19.
All right, very good. Okay, so Leith, you're trying to keep your hand over there, but you just don't have the leverage because Milford's behind you, and he's also an accomplished fighter in that regard.
Oh, look, you don't have to be ashamed of him.
Okay, Milford, you can now see what's on the back of his neck, and so can Edrin because he's close enough. And Goodale, you're a little bit further away, so you can make a investigation check, please, Goodale, to see what Edrin and Milford can see. And what they can see is a symbol that looks like a tattoo or possibly a branding. Sorry, Goodale, that's not good enough with a 4. Unfortunately, they're facing the wrong direction. Leith turns to turn away from
Leith,
you.
you don't have to be worried about a hickey. You know, we all have one every now and then.
It happens to all of us.
No,
You
it's not
get
that.
worked out.
Mr.
Yours-
Brixton, that's not a hickey. That's it's a mark of sorts.
Edrin, Arcana.
Bada boom. 17.
Okay, you recognize it as a derivation of an ancient eldritch symbol that marks. It is known as the mark of the patron,
What sort of mark is it?
and it's some
It's-
kind of celestial mark. This particular mark.
It's a
It's,
fancy hickey.
I think it's something from Tozen. From the
Yes.
almost kind of eldritch yet celestial markings on it. It seems like it's probably from Tozen.
Tozen is able to mark?
Well, yes, and this will be something of assistance to us all. I
That-
was.
That looks like it hurt, Leith. Are you all right?
Well, it did a little bit, but it will be of a greater benefit for us all when we go down and investigate the Underdark.
Right.
So this is not a hickey then.
Does it look
Not
like
unless-
a Key Milford?
I'm just saying it.
I don't even know.
If
what
it's
a
from an
hickey
octopus,
is.
maybe.
From
But
an octopus.
what?
When was the last time you saw an octopus?
What is
Don't.
Tozen?
I'd look. Let's not get into octopuses, please.
Has Tozen turned into an octopus now?
No, let's forget about octopuses for a minute. They're just a bit. Goblins.
Octopi.
We need to find the goblins. That's a good
Yes.
distraction. Goblins.
Yes,
Let's find ourselves some
goblins.
goblins. Get rid of the goblins.
Goblins is a wonderful idea.
So
Forget about
Well, not a wonderful idea. But,
I'm confused
but we
now.
should go and track down the goblins and
I'm very
sort
confused.
them out.
Are we going to get the goblins? Have you decided, Leaf?
Yes,
Well, see,
that's
I
what I
think
was just saying.
let's go and get the goblins and not worry about the hickey.
Well, it
Milford,
was you that was making
Oh,
the
the
fuss. And,
octopuses.
it was
Barry.
you that was making the
Oh,
fuss.
let's
in
not
the
talk
first
about
place.
octopuses.
Barry.
No octopuses.
Barry,
Yes.
religion check.
Oh, he's not good at that. Religion check. Hang on.
Only we had a cleric.
Man,
Where are we gonna find one of those?
I can.
One who can roll
Sorry.
investigation checks and not fail.
Oh no.
Oh crap!
Religion.
Now that we're talking about Leith having something on his neck, my neck is exceptionally itchy.
Isn't that weird? Okay, Barry, what you think when you see this marking?
When I look at it properly,
what
yes.
you really think of it is that it looks like some sort of evil eye curse to you. Like you saw somebody with something like this once, and apparently they were cursed. Everybody treated them like they were cursed.
That looks like a curse to me.
Can I please have another look, Leith?
Yes, Goodale, you can make a religion check if Leith allows you to.
You know, I knew this fellow once,
Why would I not?
and I swear he had a mark like that. You know.
It's all very personal, isn't it, Leith? You feel violated?
Yes, I do.
20.
Total 22 if I'm allowed to have a look.
All right, so Goodale, you recognize it as a celestial symbol. It's not an evil symbol, and it does have some components that are very similar to a curse. In fact, it may even curse certain types of creatures. You're not sure, but certainly it's not the evil eye.
Looks evil to me, I tell you.
No, I don't think so. I think it could possibly be a curse on some creatures.
Yes,
It's not necessarily.
It's
This
more
is
of a
what
mark
I'm-
of protection.
This is what I'm saying. It will be beneficial to us in the Underdark. It is useful against
Okay.
some of the drow, I believe.
Okay.
Alright, well, so long as you're not in too much pain, Leith.
In fact,
No,
Goodale, you've heard stories of patrons, both gods and other types of celestial patrons, providing these types of marks of protection at times of great need to their followers.
Ah. You know, there are stories of patrons giving these protections to people in times of great need. So you trust Tozen, and Tozen said it was for our protection.
Yes.
I say we go with it.
Well,
Not like we have much choice, really.
That
True.
Was why, that
We
was
could
why
try
I
to
was-
remove it.
That was why I was trying not to make.
with it. It's a terribly sorry, Leith. I interrupted you.
No. It's fine. I just wanted to say that that's why I didn't want to make too much of a fuss about it.
It's quite exciting to get
Well-
a mark of protection from your patron.
Well, yes, but I don't really fancy being branded. Is the thing. It's, just call it a personal quirk, but I'm just not a big fan of.
Somebody rings the 11th bell.
It's getting a little late. Well, late in the morning anyway. I think we should probably go and deal to these goblins.
First job is pest control.
Should we find out where they're located, if we know where? If the elves know where they're based, what area of the land on the island they're on? Pencil.
Yeah, well, we could just go back to where we
That's a good
cloaked
idea.
some earlier and just follow the tracks. But you're
Good idea. You're very good at track following, aren't you, Edric?
I'm middling at best.
Well, you found the warg, so I would say you're at least better than me. So
Dirty great.
not
big
very
dog
hard,
tracks.
but still.
You hear somebody coming into the tent from behind you guys, and you turn. I assume you turn. If you turn, you see Thorn Gaakai enter with her helmet under her arm. You still looking for those goblins? Yes.
We were just about to head out.
Well, we've dealt with the ones from this morning, no problem. But yes, we're going to go to the ruins and try and find.
Head north. You find the Great Wall. Huge.
Oh,
Giant. Follow it to the east side.
yes.
Then it will be a hole in the wall. I think there's a hole there. You can find the ruins beyond.
Very good.
Ruins.
Thank you so much.
That is where they hide.
Will you be joining us, Dawn?
I should like to, but we have more problems here. Much talking to discuss.
Problems? Oh.
Politics. Very good. We will take care of the goblin
I
problem.
tire of the politics. I wait for you to become fully initiate.
And what, out of curiosity, what would that entail?
I cannot tell you. If I tell you, then there's no initiation. It breaks the whole point.
No, I can't fault you on that one.
So the oath doesn't count.
Russell,
If you go to see some kind of theater play, huh? You want me to tell you the end?
Oh, so the oath is just a ticket.
Oh. That's like the prologue. Right.
Go, go, go! Kill the goblins!
Oh, yes, I think we should.
Oh, of course.
Yes. I say in Orcish, thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Yes, soon will be afternoon.
Russell, would you mind doing my throws for me? My mouth's have gone funny.
Yep, no worries. Gotcha. Alright, so, you guys head off out of the camp, I assume.
Yes.
What's your marching order?
Adric
Yeah, I could go first.
in front.
Leith is probably not far behind Edric.
Okay.
Who's staring at Leith's neck?
I'll be drawing
one.
it in my notebook.
Yeah, actually.
Why not?
Unless your armor has like you know, like the leather jackets with the stiff neck thing. It's got one of those like that. Nope. There we go.
It was just my mage hand just slowly pulling it down, and then his mage hand snapping it up. My mage hand pulling it down, and then his mage hand snapping it back up. They start slapping each other.
Right. I think Leith's got a
Like the
mage hand
Three
too. He can start
Stooges.
whacking you back with it, I assume.
Exactly.
That's what he was
Let's
saying.
not go there.
Our two mage hands just going at it while we're acting nonchalant about it.
Right. Right. No.
Desperately need like
That's
a
not
a mage hand arm wrestle. I need that.
Right. Okay, so you're wandering off into the forest. Adric's first, Leith's second, Edrin is third. Who's at the back?
That would be me.
All right.
Um,
Putting Goodale behind Edrin.
yeah.
All right. So remember where you are in this marching order, please. All right. As you continue, you get to the standing stones where you guys had your meeting the other night. And you find that one of the stones there, one of the large monolithic rocks, has been smashed to smithereens. And there are black marks all over the pieces. And all of the grass in a 30-foot diameter is just flattened as if a UFO had landed there.
Was there thunder earlier? Lightning.
Oh, I see.
Didn't hear anything.
I you know, there was some storm and thunder as I came past this area. Wasn't like this when I got here.
This island is weird.
Hey, the island. Hey.
This
Quite like it though.
really
Quite like
large,
it. It's very
not
charming.
not monstrously large, but naturally large bumblebee comes zooming out, and it goes up to Adric, and then it ignores him, and it goes up to the next person. It's Leith, isn't it? And it circles Leith, and circles him again,
Oh,
circles him again,
Oh.
and it zooms down to Edrin, and it circles Edrin.
I'm trying to make Top not eat it. Top is like going at it. I'm like, no, stay back.
All right,
Don't eat the bee.
it's a bit too high up for Tup. It goes around you a third time, and then it moves to Goodale. It zips around you 3 times, and then finally, Milford Brixton, 3 times it circles you, and then it zooms back off into the forest.
I don't like that, you know.
That's quite bizarre.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it's
one-
quite bizarre.
it did it to me when I came here.
But you notice
What?
that it didn't do it to you
Quite
this time.
nice.
I
Oh, it
fixed
was-
the problem with my thing, Russell, so it's fine.
Cool.
That's quite nice. We don't get bees in Vanderhold. It's too cold, so that was actually quite beautiful.
Oh, you come from a cold place, do you?
Yeah.
Getting to the
We
point.
have other insects. But...
Speaking of cold, it's beginning to get quite hot as Solum Pingal gets high in the sky above now, and the heat really begins to come down, beating down on the grass and the trees. And you begin to hear this popping sound as seeds all over the ground begin to crack open and burst their pods and spray seeds out onto the ground. You're hearing this. It's some sort of natural phenomena. You can all make a nature check if you like.
I do want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know either.
Nature.
Hadrick,
I don't even know what
16.
that is.
Idrin,
I got-
20. Goodale, 5. Why does Goodale not know the first thing about nature? She's just distracted.
She's a city girl. She's spent so much time in temple. She hasn't really
Right.
been bothering
She is-
about seeds and
Right.
such.
She is a high elf, that's true. Alright. Okay, well, so Adric and Idrin, you know that it's about that time of year, I guess. So it's very close to the equinox, and thusly the hottest. Oh, sorry, the solstice, and it's the hottest day of the year.
Oh, getting close.
You picked a really good day to go for a hike. Oh, it should be cool on underground.
Do you know,
definitely
I've
very
been
warm.
underground before.
Well, that's where we were in
Well, yeah.
Vaingate.
That's where we met Goodale.
Yeah, precisely. I swore at the Vaingate I'd never go underground again.
Well,
What
it
am I
sounds like you
doing?
lied to yourself.
Did you? I don't remember that, Milford.
I've got to stop lying to myself.
It's okay. It's required every now and then.
Perception
I'll
checks.
lie. Oh shit.
You know why that is, you know? It's because I'm not lying to anybody else. I'm starting to lie to myself.
Oh, you see now I don't believe you.
Adric,
Oh, you
20.
need someone to rip off.
Pardon?
You
Only
need
I do
someone to
that.
rip off.
What did we get there?
Adric dirty 20.
Adric with the dirty 20. Idrin
Got a
with a
6.
3.
Three.
Leith with a 6.
What are we rolling?
Perception checks.
Perception.
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 Oh, I didn't do
Perception.
perception. Hang on. Perception. I wouldn't see much anyway, would I?
Well, you
24.
24. Okay. The interesting thing is it's not a sight perception thing, it's a smell.
Oh.
Oh, Tup gets advantage on that.
Well, you can roll.
23.
All right.
Damn.
Tup can roll with advantage. All right, Milford, you notice it definitely. Goodale definitely. Adric definitely. Leith and Idrin, personally, Idrin doesn't notice it, but Tup notices.
Hang on. That is a total of
17, isn't it?
10. No, that's rolling 2.
Oh.
That's a third one. Ignore all those. Ignore everything that's
Just
happened.
start over, right?
It's a 10.
It's a 10.
It's a 10.
Okay,
I rolled 2 d20s, took the highest.
Okay.
That wasn't me, you know.
All right. Okay, so Milford, Goodale, and Adric, you guys all notice this incredible stench come on this waft of wind across the landscape. And as you look around, you see there's this... there's an owlbear, but it's laying down on its side over by this dead tree. And the tree's kind of collapsed and its branches are kind of sagging and wilted. And this owlbear's just laying there going...
Oh, it's... Adric's gonna go over and to check on it. Can I? Would it be a nature
You can
or
make a nature
medicine
check. Nature check
Okay.
first. Now, I'm also going to say right now to the audience that you guys all are earning divinity points just by watching this show. That's the currency of the channel. The channel currency, we've called it divinity, because we want to instill the idea that you guys are in fact our kind of deities to us. You know, you guys make this all possible and make it fun for us. So you guys have divinity, and you can spend your divinity points, this channel currency, to set the difficulty ratings of various people's checks. If I say this is going to be an open check, that means that you can choose to spend your divinity to make or set the DC for the check. So keep that in mind as we continue forward. You can also do other things with the divinity. I believe that if you click on that little divinity button at the bottom left corner of the chat, it looks like a purple circle with a dot in it, kind of like an eye, with a little infinity symbol next to it. If you click on that, I think that will give you a list of things you can do with it, or at least access to all of that stuff, right? NST Earl Grey Hot says last time she watched Milford nearly died, and I believe somebody spent divinity that time. Yeah, which time is the question. He does that sometimes.
He's almost died 3 times.
Right.
Ogre,
He nearly died in the last game too.
And
The
Ogre.
first time. Was that the time with the ogres?
That was the time of the ogres.
That's happened
yeah.
a couple of
Could
times.
we not
happened
talk
again,
about
twice.
that, please?
Yeah,
no.
too Grey Hot. There was a demon. Like Russell threw a demon at us, and it just fucked up everything.
So
Yeah, and that was the most recent. And the owlbears. He also went
Yeah.
unconscious at the owlbears.
Right, that was last week.
Right,
Was
right.
owlbears.
Right
Yeah.
now is a sore spot.
Yeah.
So speaking of owlbears,
I got a 22.
a 22. The owlbear looks somehow. It looks very sick, and you can see this kind of hardened goo around its beak, on its feathers around its face, and it's leaking this nasty white stuff from its eyes, and it's just laying there, and it looks up and sees you, and it actually looks afraid.
Galandahl!
Gonna kneel down next to it. I'm gonna start stroking its head. Precious.
Galandahl, do you reckon you can help the owlbear?
Do you,
let's go.
I can try. I can offer it a prayer of healing, perhaps.
Okay.
Russell, can I animal handling to calm it so it doesn't panic?
You can make an attempt. You can certainly try, as they say.
Before I
Can I
offer,
help with some cheese?
You can help with cheese. You cannot help with cheese.
I keep cheese around with me for tap. I don't know if owls like cheese or not.
It doesn't know what it is. I'm afraid that's not going to help.
That's fair.
That's an 18 to calm it down.
right.
It's yep. Okay. And you're
I'm
using
just-
prayer of healing. Is that right?
Excuse me one moment, folks. I have a rogue bunny rabbit in my room. Won't be 2
Well,
seconds.
you have to bring it
All
back to the
good.
camera to prove it.
You
I'm
must.
not. We can't lift them up at the moment.
Fair point.
Unfortunately, I'll take a photo.
I think he's lying.
All right, Galandahl. It's calmed down.
He's going to go and look up owlbears in the monster manual.
Adric, before I offer this healing, what if it jumps up and starts attacking us?
That's
I don't think it's...
that's simply its nature. But for
But-
the moment, it knows we're not going to harm it.
Okay. Very good. Then
It's up to us if we want to attempt to deal with whatever this is, or if it would be kinder simply to put it out of its misery.
We made an oath to help everything, including owlbears.
that's a good point.
Help
Milford,
Victorious ones.
Milford, as you guys are having this conversation, Milford, you notice something flick through the trees about probably 200 feet away. Long brown kind of, almost like an appendage of something, sort of black and brown shape flicks through the trees, and you hear just a long way away.
Okay. Leave it, because it's not hurt enough.
He's back.
Is it?
I've dealt with my own pesky little owlbear.
Excellent. Welcome back, Mr. Mystralath.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to make a perception check, please? Not Milford, though, because you've already noticed.
Oh.
What are we perceptivizing?
Well, I'll
Milford's
tell you,
there.
if you get it.
I'm concentrating on my
18.
spell, I think.
Okay, so you're not
Adric's
paying
focused
attention.
on the bear, I reckon.
All right, so Adric, yeah, you're probably out. Edrin and Leith, you guys can have a chance at perception.
$18.
18, very good. Okay.
That was 11 for the healing of the owlbear, by the way.
Okay, 11 for the healing of the owlbear. The owlbear kind of looks a bit better for a moment, and it stands up, and it staggers around for a minute, and you realize that it's actually suffering some kind of condition that your healing is not able to heal.
What's wrong?
I don't know. It's a condition that doesn't respond to the healing I attempted to give it. Can I roll? What do I roll to see if I know what condition it is?
You could make a medicine check.
Medicine, of course. 17?
Yeah, you think it might be poisoned or something. That might be what that goo is on its face.
It's been poisoned.
Can you...
So, okay, going back to you guys that made your perception checks. What were your perception checks again?
18.
Mine was 15.
15 and 18, okay. You notice that the mud around here has a kind of a greenish tint to it, and you see these huge footprints, like massive footprints, like hooves. Massive hoof prints in the mud. And you look up, and you see this face peering around through the trees, and the face must be the size of a oxen cart. And it's not human, it's some kind of creature, and it's got these horns coming out of its nose, and it's got all these teeth sticking out the front of it.
That's no goblin.
It's the head is about 2 human sizes off the ground, so it's whatever it is huge, and brown fur bristling behind it, and these ears that kind of point off the front of this dark-skinned, pig-like face with tassels of brown fur underneath its chin as well. Now that you notice, you start to realize that it's kind of camouflaged amongst the trees, and this brown fur rises up behind it into this massive hump. And then there's the tail that goes behind it. There's this massive clump on the end of it, like a huge, huge club.
Does it look like it might be intelligent?
About as intelligent as maybe a cow.
Oh,
Maybe more, you don't know. You've only been looking at it for a few seconds.
I'll step forward and say, hello?
Alright.
Leith, I think maybe we should let it graze.
My video.
Oh no.
You think, Russell?
One moment, please.
You're so max headroom.
Right. So you say hello to it.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Well, that's interesting. You can make a DC 16 Constitution saving throw.
These me.
DC 16 Constitution saving throw.
Oh dear.
DC 16.
Just.
You just
No.
made it?
No, 15.
15. Oh. You just failed it.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, a very odd thing happens. Is this flash of blue light that seems to come from its eyes, and it kind of just hits you right in the face, Leith, and you suddenly. How many hit points do you have?
38.
Oh, don't like the sound of that, Russell.
Take 33 hit points of necrotic damage.
Hey!
What now?
Dude.
This thing is not nice.
It starts to meander towards you.
I was about to say, I grab Leith by the collar and start hauling ass.
Oh,
Run, we better get out of here.
Yeah, I'm in favor of running.
Okay. Run we shall.
I'm happy to be dragged.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so you're dragging Leith out of there. Who's doing the dragging right now?
Well, I assume he's, still up. I'm just kind of leading him by the collar.
Right.
And hoping his legs kick in as well.
Right. Okay, Milford, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
I'm knocking my bow.
All right, knocking your bow. All right. Are you going to do anything with it, or are you?
I'm knocking it. If it gets any faster, I'll shoot it.
Okay.
It's gonna be a long shot, of course, but I'll
Alright.
get ready.
So what you do notice is it has quite tough-looking hide on its skin under its fur.
It's alright. I'll be aiming for it, trying to shoot it.
Now, everyone can make a nature check here, I think, too.
Nature.
Adric on
Dirty
8.
20.
Dirty 20? All right.
12.
12
No,
is good
I have
enough.
no idea.
What-
Five.
I was an
Five, okay.
outside boy. I studied the outside.
All right. Milford, you've got no idea what it is, I guess,
No.
because you lived in Vaingate your whole life.
No, that's why I cocked a
Yep.
freaking.
Goodale, did you get anything useful?
3.
3? Okay,
No.
never mind. Okay, so those of you that got above about 12, you've heard the sinister folklore of the Catoblepus. This is a creature of very feared reputation. Stories about it are ingrained in the popular culture. Essentially, whenever one of these takes up residence nearby, it's said to be a bad omen. The silhouette of the Catoblepus with its tail extended over its body and its head held low as a baleful heraldic figure signifying death or doom. Basically, it is known in pop culture, around the world that pestilence and rot and poison is brought with the Catoblepus. And it has some sort of death ray, apparently. If it looks at you, it can kill you. And people who fall to it are immediately either destroyed or not. So it's got a harsh reputation. Nobody gets hit by a death ray and kind of lingers and is ever to be saved. You're either dead or you're not.
Well,
Leith is a first.
which is it?
Well, out of game, I'm talking mechanically about death saving throws.
Oh, right.
What about revivify and all that? That's out then.
Revivify might work. Revivify is essentially a resurrection, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's bringing back from the dead rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
trying to ward off death.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So it's shambling towards us now.
It's shambling towards you. It's got its tail raised. It still seems kind of just curious at this point. But it's shot at Leith once with its eyes.
Right.
So it's... At this point, the misty rain starts to set in again, and it starts to cool down, by the way.
I think we should get away.
Yes, we should keep moving.
Keep
Leith,
moving.
can you run?
Yes, I think so.
Alright, let's go.
Yeah.
All right. It charges over to you guys, and the
Fire.
owlbear goes... "Meow." And the Catoblepus turns to the owlbear. looks at you guys for a moment, and it's almost like it's deciding that the owlbear in the hand is better than the 6 adventurers on the run, so it decides to head back over to the owlbear. And you guys slip away into the landscape and get over the next hill.
Goodell's got a hand on Leith, and she's going to cast Cure Wounds, if that's all right.
Yep.
And I actually rolled it before, and I'd really like to use that roll if I could.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
You roll.
And,
Oh,
you know,
nice.
I'm afraid
How much?
that I'm going to have to say no. You're going to have to roll again.
I believe in you, Goodale.
Okay. Cure Wounds.
Come on, get out.
Oh, wait, that's not it. Sorry. That's not the one I
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to roll.
I'll
That
take
was only
that.
first level.
I'll take that.
You want
Is that
to
a
do
7? Is that what I saw as a 7? 7 hit
Yeah,
points?
I
I meant
meant-
to do a higher level.
I wanted to do a higher level one.
Oh, you can roll again with a higher level one if you like.
Okay.
Go.
There we go.
Dun, 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 dun. 18.
18.
Okay, you get 18 hit points back.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go. Very nice. Okay, so you get over the hill and you get out of range of the Catablepus, and it seems to have stopped following you. And at that point you look up and you can see the wall now through the forest. And it heads down to the edge of the island, and unfortunately, Edrin, it basically heads to the sea. You can see the sea from where you are now. It's not the sea, it's the lake. My
It's the
apologies.
lake, yes.
It's
But
the
it's
lake.
still...
It's the water.
There's still the mist, though,
The
as well.
good news
that's
is the
probably
mist.
helping.
Yeah, the mist is kind of shrouding around the edge of the island, so it's very, very bright, high contrasty kind of light right now with the mist there. It's very diffuse. You ever stood on a beach in the fog, in the sunlight? It's extremely bright and it hurts your eyes.
Right. Well, I shall remain looking away from the water anyway, just to,
Right.
for my own peace of mind.
For the rest of you, you see this massive Ostorian wall that rises up out of the water as if it basically had been bent into the water. And it just rises up and then begins to track along the island. It must be about 30 feet wide, and hard to say how tall it is, but it's quite tall. It's at least, it reminds you of the walls of Vaingate. It's huge.
Okay, so where is this hole in the wall that Thorn was talking about?
This might be it.
Over by the edge there, you can see there's a bunch of rubble on very close to the beach. So if you want to, you pretty much, you can guess that's where the hole must be. If there is a hole, that's where it is. That's the breach. The angle that you're at right now doesn't let you see through it, but that's where it will be.
Shall we? Looks like it's over in that general direction. Shall we get a better look?
Yes.
Yes. Will you manage, Edrin?
I think I'll be okay if I walk towards the wall and don't focus on the lake. I think I'll be okay. And I'll just cuddle Tup just a little bit tighter.
All right.
Top.
Okie dokie. You do that.
My emotional support badger.
Right. As you guys get closer, you move about 300 feet, and you're going through the forest, and you're getting to the point where the forest line is beginning to break down, and there's less and less cover. And the ground is turning into a kind of a marshland. It's getting wetter, and you're sort of less sure of your footing as you sort of continue in this direction. There's a couple of places where there's hills that poke up out of the water and out of the marsh, and they've got a little bit of vegetation on them, but the ground itself, most of it is wet, muddy. You can see the wall from here, and you can make a perception check each, please.
Oops, that's the wrong thing.
Oh, got a still a 6.
Ooh, 11, 15, 18, 9.
9.
Okay, Leith and Goodale. You notice little tiny figures on top of the wall.
Leith, I think we may have found our goblins.
Are they laughing?
Are they laughing?
Yeah.
You
I feel
can't.
like they might be laughing at us.
You can't tell. You don't know if they've seen you.
Okay.
Too far away at this point.
Could your owl see up there?
Oh yes, I'll send Al over to have a look.
Okay. The owl takes off.
So there's mist around, isn't there?
Yeah,
Bad weather.
the mist is around the edge of the island.
Ah, okay. It's not going to be much help.
There. It's raining though.
Yeah, I'm going to use that
Okay,
to get closer.
so you're going to use Mask of the Wild.
Yes.
Okay, so if anyone was wondering, Milford Brixton is a half-elf, but he's also a half-wood elf, and thus he has Mask of the Wild, and he's able to hide using natural phenomena like rain and mist and very light foliage and cover. So you're going to make a stealth check, please, Mr. Brixton.
Oh, yes. I knew you'd say that. And it's ready. Come on, do your best.
25.
25.
All right. So Milford essentially just slips off into the mist and the rain, more to the point. And remarkably, you lose him.
Milford's gone again.
Probably sneaking around somewhere.
Well, yes.
But he's doing what he does best.
All right, Milford, you head on over to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you get to the edge of the wall, and you notice that the stones are huge and ancient.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even imagine who could have moved these stones, and it does remind you of Vaingate, actually.
Okay. Are they climbable?
They are quite climbable, especially with the sorts of equipment that you have. And further to that, Milford, you notice there's a ladder.
Okay.
You see this rickety old ladder going up the side, and as you look along the wall, right down about 300 feet from you, to your right-hand side, all the way close to where the beach is, you see there's a pile of rubble down there, and looks like some sort of hut or something, and maybe there's a pit or something down there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you see signs of smoke coming up from behind the wall, and also roundabouts where the wall is, where you think the breach might be.
Okay. Are they on top? If I got the ladder carefully and quietly,
Right?
I'll have to do my stealth again, won't I?
You will.
Okay, here goes. Wish me luck, guys. 22.
22. I'm frozen stiff. See? Okay, 22. Excellent. You managed to get up the ladder without making a single noise, not even a creak. Silently, you edge up onto the top of the wall and roll onto it flat.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. And if I can see one of them up there on guard.
Yep, you can see you see two goblins sitting playing dice.
When he starts to laugh like that and lean back, I grab him from behind and kill him.
Okay, what about the other one that he's playing dice with?
I throw a knife at him.
Okay, so which one first?
grab the one, cut his throat, and throw the knife.
Okay. So how many actions do you get in a turn? One of these is going to be your action. The other is going to be a bonus action, I assume, with an offhand.
Yeah.
Can you
How
throw
are we
a
going to
dagger
phrase
with an
this
offhand
one?
weapon? Not sure that you can. Let's have a look at Milford Brixton's character sheet and see what is accomplishable. So, as far as attack actions are concerned, all right. I'm going to get you to roll a stealth check first of all.
Stealth check. Oh, please, just this once.
Just this once.
18.
Right, that's it. That's the one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Stealth, you're good. All right. So now you're going to make an attack with. Is it a short sword or a dagger or what?
A short sword,
All right.
and it's from behind.
All right. So it's attack with advantage.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous, so be patient with me.
All right. I think I should exploit this nervousness. It's more fun that way.
Short sword. Bump. Okay, that's
Did you roll,
8.
You didn't roll it with advantage though, did you?
Oh no, I didn't. Sorry.
No. Roll it with advantage, please.
Okay, sorry.
Bloody useless, Barry.
I know.
I should get people that can roll dice on this channel. We had Zach in here before asking for a job.
24.
24. That's more like it. That's what I'm talking about. All right, now do your damage. Roll it with critical, please. So right-click on the short sword damage button. Right-click on it and select critical hit.
Right. Critical hit.
Oh wait, what am I talking about? That's not true at all.
Oh,
Just roll it, and then you're going to do your sneak attack damage. I'm sorry.
13.
Okay, so you do 13 damage from your. Oh, that was a
Critical
No, you
hit.
I
Yeah.
just told you not to do that. Never mind. Okay, you do 13 points of damage, and he's dead anyway because he's a goblin.
Yeah.
All right. The next one looks up at you, catches eyes with you. Initiative.
Initiative. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Is that
Initiative.
everyone?
What's that, Steve?
Is that everyone or just?
No, just Barry.
Just
I got a 12.
12. Well, you beat him, so you can roll to hit.
I rolled a hit. Okay, I've got to go back.
Yep. So short sword attack, This is-
Okay.
but not with advantage this time. It's just a straight attack.
It's just a straight attack. Okay.
Yep.
Short sword.
Unless
Straight
you
attack.
want to throw that dagger that you were talking about.
Too late. I've done it. 15.
15 to hit. That hits. Do your damage, please, with your short sword.
Okay. 7.
7. Well, perfect. You slay the second goblin.
Okay. Right.
Right. You're on the wall. Nobody's seen you. Nobody that is alive has seen you.
Okay. Is there anybody else on the wall that I can see?
Okay, you can make a perception check.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in Kansas, back on the hill, Goodale, Edrin, Adric, and Leith, what are you guys doing?
Shall we try and get in through that hole?
Get into.
Dale, your sound.
Where exactly does it go?
11.
Down
11.
the Underdark.
Can we see everything that Milford's just done?
You didn't see him until he popped up on the wall, and then because you had spotted those goblins, you saw him basically murder the goblins. That's what you saw.
Okay.
Because you'd already seen the goblins with your perception checks earlier. So, yeah, you picked him up at that point.
Okay.
Yes.
Did Brixton get his sending stone back from Ram?
I am going to
Because
assume
we
that he
used-
did, yes.
Some point
Okay,
during the journey, I would have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very good.
We should
So-
probably give that to someone at some point. Because I don't know. I don't know what he's. Are you all right up there, Brixton? Brixton?
Are you going to call out to him, are you?
You know, I
Really?
did that again. Yeah. Live with your mistakes, you know.
Hey,
You sleep in the
Brixton
bed you
does
made.
this. Brixton does this.
Adrian! Just quiet.
Hey,
There's
I
a...
said-
Oh, shut
Oh
up.
shit.
Then you hear shouting and yelling. And the rattling of armor and weapons. What are you guys doing?
Hey,
How many-
Leith, do you think you have another one of those fireballs in you so you can get them at the mouth?
I was maybe being a little bit overzealous with that first fireball, but I could certainly blast a couple.
Well, you see about 15 goblins come pouring out through the wall. About...
Now's a good time.
That was a very good time.
Yeah, well, now what's your range right now? Because they're about 200 feet away.
It's 150. I've just got to wait. On the fireball.
I would like to profusely apologize. He just turns, pulls out his phone and goes, I am so sorry.
The numbers of goblins doubles now. There's 30 of them that have poured out.
Fireball.
Now they're all looking around and they're trying to work out what to do.
I'm.
They
Milford's standing on this wall, and goblins just are
pouring out
issuing
around.
from the wall.
Yeah, they're pouring out from his far left. Well, put it this way: if this is the wall and he's here, and
Yeah.
this is the beach up this way, there's a hole somewhere up there, and he's standing on the wall here. They're coming through that hole over here, and you guys, oh, everything's backwards. I can't really explain it very easily. I'd need to.
It's okay.
I'm
I get
basically
you.
going
I
to
get the
shoot them
gist.
in the back, Russell.
There's a lot of them, Barry, and if you do that, you're going to give yourself away.
Is
If
this
I
a good
hit
time
one
to
at a
use a battle
time,
map?
though.
Well, that's true. You might be able to. If everyone that you kill won't know where you are, but then the ones that see you kill them will know where you are. So, there's
But
that.
at the moment, my compatriots are keeping them busy.
Well, they haven't seen your compatriots, and they haven't seen you either.
Oh, well, I won't do anything if they're not
They,
seeing
they
them.
seem to be completely oblivious to what they're supposed to be doing. They've come out here and they're looking for the source of the noise that the guard heard and
Okay.
blew his horn. So there's one of the goblins is out there with his horn in one hand going, and the other one's a. You like my goblin, by the way?
Great, that's fantastic.
I'm just
Brixton,
gonna.
look out! There are goblins!
Oh fuck!
No, I'm joking.
Was it? Okay.
That one wasn't
You
joke.
said that.
That was a setup. No, I had to take that setup. But no, that's I'm joking about the second one.
So you don't say that.
No.
Does anyone want to spend some divinity points to make him say it? No. Okay.
You may or
Have
may
a
not
look,
be
see if
to
they
your very
do.
Has Edrin been
Actually
drinking
not.
again?
This is why he's sober. He's sober. That
T.O.
is
Greyheart wants to spend divinity. To
You mean he was
why.
sober and he made a mistake like
No, I
that?
can't do
Yeah,
that
this
to
is
him.
why he drinks.
Yeah.
How much? I can't
I
interfere
don't-
with,
that would give
with
away
his
our whole
agency like
position.
that. But I will definitely penalize his next difficulty rating for you.
So how close together? I'm assuming that the
Oh,
goblins
they're-
are pretty.
Because there's 30 of them, they're quite close together, actually. They're kind of all standing sort of 5 feet apart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's quite a bunch of them. Some of them are further apart than that. It runs around the edges, are sort of 10 to 15 feet out. But there's a good cluster in the middle that are quite close to one another. You could probably get 10 or 12 of them in one hit if you so desired.
I don't suppose there's a boulder up where I am, is there?
Not really. You're on a wall.
Oh, pity.
I mean, the wall is made of boulders, but they're all kind of glued together.
And there's
Little
still
known
about,
fact, giants were great with sovereign glue.
That's right.
There's still about how far from us? 200 feet.
Yep. And you've got 30 feet of movement every 6 seconds, so, you know, hey. Wow. Holy
Thank you, actually, bud.
moly. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
That is an incredible sight to behold. What have I just seen? Dude,
Wow.
thank
Wow.
you. That's amazing.
What's going on?
Oh,
Well,
hey.
actually, Bard is
Oh.
gifting 25 tier 1 subs to the community.
Wow.
That's a huge thing.
Thank you.
That's really appreciated, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah,
I'll
Yeah.
just put that
Thank
in
you
my
for
pouch.
enjoying.
that is amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll try and concentrate now that I'm slightly
Found up, yeah.
I will dash.
love from the D&D community on TikTok. Thank you, actually, Bard. We really appreciate that. That's a very moving thing to do. Really do appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much, actually, Bard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move forward.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking about dashing, but that'll leave me in range.
Leith, if you... Here, and I'm gonna hand Leith one of my haste potions. That'll give you get you a bit closer.
Oh, this will mean I can use it now.
It'll speed you
Well-
right up.
Haste will mean that I can run up and use the fireball at the same time.
Well, let
so-
us quickly check on haste.
Yeah.
Choose a willing creature that you can see within range, but I guess it's the potion. Until the spell ends, the target speed is doubled, it gains a +2 bonus to AC, has advantage on dexterity saving throws, and gains an additional action each of its turns.
Wow.
So, just by
Wow.
walking, you can get 60 feet closer, blow them the hell up,
Right,
Yes.
and then you have an additional action to
right,
just to hide, I guess.
right. So you'll have...
Eldritch Blast.
Yep,
Oh, an additional action as well.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great spell.
Okay. So I'll
And you're going to waste it on the goblins.
Yeah, I really thought about that.
A lot of goblins, though. That's a lot
It's
of
a
goblins.
lot of goblins.
All right, all right.
So drinking the potion is an action as well, though, isn't it?
Good. Yeah, but that's... Yeah, okay, yeah, yep. That's an action. It's...
Have I just?
But, you know, it'll be the next round when you're actually going
You'd
to do
still be
something.
able to, because if you get haste, then you get 2 actions, and your action is drinking it, so you technically get a second action, right?
The thing is
You
that
you don't get 3 actions.
the goblins aren't doing anything right now. So
Oh, yeah,
you're not
okay.
actually
We're not
in
in
combat,
combat.
so it doesn't actually matter at this
You're
point.
just pouring out of the place, going near at us.
Right.
So,
So until you're actually in combat and the initiative has been rolled, it doesn't matter. So you can drink the potion.
I will drink it, run forward, and either start casting the fireball or cast the fireball.
All right. So you cast fireball. Let's see what happens. It's going to be a surprise attack, so you get to
Yep.
roll your fireball. They're making dexterity saving throws, aren't they?
Yep.
So I have to make 30 dexterity saving throws? That's ridiculous.
Or you could do 1, 4, 5, and then just have to do 6.
I tell you what you're going to do, mate. You're going to roll the damage for the fireball.
Oh,
And
that's
I'll-
a satisfying roll. 41.
41. Okay. So that's what they would each and individually take if they get hit by the fireball. If they make their saving throw, do they take half damage or no damage?
Let me just double check
If
that.
it's half damage.
Half as much on a successful one, yeah.
You wipe them all out. You blast them to little smithereens. Little arms and legs and swords and helmets and feet are raining from the sky. And this massive blast of fire and blood explodes across the field. Milford Brixton, you see this from up on the
just
wall.
going to turn and walk away from the goblins towards the group.
You
so
just
that
want the fireball behind you. with
there's
whole...
the fireball behind him, and he's like, I really should not be using this again today.
There is actually a second explosion at that point as the guardhouse blows up behind you as well.
Look,
I wonder if that's going to affect the hole we got to get through.
I really wish I had a green screen right now, because I could totally do a big fireball behind me.
Yeah.
Recommend for the future.
Yeah.
Leith, a horned helmet lands next to you.
Yeah.
Ding, ding,
I
ding, ding.
really shouldn't be using this again today, so I don't think we should be going down there.
Oh, nonsense! You're plenty powerful.
No,
That's
no. This has used quite a bit of power that's in the staff, and I don't want to use too much more.
Well, we've already gotten rid of about, 60 of them?
How many of them could there be?
I think you're slightly...
I'm just
exaggerating
sitting
there.
up on the wall, waiting for somebody to do something.
And now we also
Something
have
got
the
done.
factor of fear on our side. We bring in a few helmets and we scare them away. Then we don't need to kill anyone, and they'll just scuttle back down to the Underdark.
Does where was Milford when that explosion happened?
On the wall.
Wasn't I firing that?
Different.
fireball?
He's at a different part of the wall outside of range.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. He's not in range. Don't worry.
he does stand up and go.
You certainly feel the heat wave, though, Milford.
Yes, definitely.
In fact, a little goblin arm lands next to you.
Oh, that's handy, isn't it?
Well done.
I see what you did there.
Well, shall we go and investigate then?
Yes, let's.
Yes, I think we should.
All right, so you head on down, and you follow the wall all the way down to the breach. And at this point, you can see that there's basically a picket, like a what do you call it? Like a palisade that goes around the breach itself. These wooden posts with sharpened sticks on the end, sharpened points on the top of these logs, surrounding the entrance to the breach. And there's a bit of a gate there, but basically the fireball has blown this all to smithereens. And so now you've got this busted, burnt palisade that's still kind of on fire. There's this guardhouse that's blown to pieces. On top of the wall, you notice there's another little guardhouse sitting up there that's got a little bit of flame burning on one side of it. And you can make a perception check each. Then you can see the breach itself, and you can see that what you've got there is a couple of planks and ladders that go through a rather it's not a flat entrance through the breach. It's over rubble and stuff, and they've built ladders and steps and things to get through there. And of course it's goblin construction, so it's very rickety. What did we get for our perception checks? Let me have a look.
13.
13 for Milford, 21 for Edrin,
That one.
and that one for Patrick. Patrick, what are you thinking about? Why are you so distracted?
I'm probably just too busy focusing on the pieces of the goblins there, there.
Goodale and 8, why are you distracted?
Probably a little bit of what's distracting Adric, all the body parts everywhere, and possibly wondering if orcs aren't bad, are goblins not bad?
Right. These are good questions. Good questions indeed. Okay, so you get to the breach itself. And
I'll go down the ladder like a sailor does.
which side are you going to be on, Milford? Are you going to go along the wall? Because I'll tell you what.
I'll go along the wall until I get where they are.
Okay, so you go along the wall and you get parallel to where they are. As you go along the wall, on your left-hand side is a hill. On the other side of the wall, they can't see this, right?
Okay.
And what you're looking at is a hill, and out of the hill, the stone structure comes built into the hill. And you notice there's this massive set of stairs that come down out of the hill. And as you go around it, you realize there's some kind of this massive broken stone gate. And you can see the two stone doors that have been thrown open. Massive stone doors have literally been thrown open and ripped off whatever hinges they had and are just laying on these massive steps. And there's broken pillars down either side of the steps. This is parallel to you. The stairs go down parallel next to you. At the bottom of those stairs, there is a big square. with steps around it, like a square-shaped amphitheater, covered in rubble and bush and scrub and all sorts of crap like that. And then next to that, kind of half in and half out of that open courtyard, that stone square, is this big wooden cage. And inside that cage you can see dozens of goblins, and they're all naked and holding onto the sides, and they look terrified, and they start making this noises at each other, and one of them punches one of the other goblins, and they start this brawl inside the cage. And you get around, you go further down, and you get to the guardhouse that's on top of the wall where you are.
Yeah.
And you have to walk around that. You notice that that's on fire, but it's probably not going to burn itself down. It's probably going to go out before it burns itself out.
Okay.
And you go around that, and you get to the point where the breach is in the wall, and you can see these guys approaching the breach. So you're all within voice of each other now.
Oi. There's goblins in cages up here.
Is it wise to go down there at this point?
Well,
You don't
I've
see
been down there.
You don't see any guards, Barry.
There's no guards. No guards. Just goblins in cages. They look very afraid.
Oh, I see.
Not that I care. I mean, they're goblins, and it's not my problem. But
Well,
you
if
know.
there are goblins in cages, they might be against the goblins outside the cages.
Oh, what remains of them?
Does anybody speak goblin here?
Well, no.
I speak Orc. I don't know if they're related in dialect, if it'd be very broken, but it might be worth a try unless they don't know any common.
I could give Undercommon a go.
Yes, well, we might as well go and try.
You're gonna have to come up here to go there. Here, I'll send me a rope down.
All right.
Make knots now.
Okay, so Milford pulls out his rope and he throws it down the side, and as he says make knots now, the rope magically knots itself up into a series of knots that make it into a rope ladder, or a knotted rope ladder, if that makes sense. And the rope literally attaches itself to the wall, so you don't have to go through the breach if you don't wish to.
Well, he's expended that much effort, we may as well. And Adric starts climbing.
All right. You guys, whoever climbs, gets to the top, and you can see what I've just described to Barry. Furthermore, as you look around, you see in the distance there's a couple of old boats laying on the shore, wrecked, like old fishing boats. Any of you that are elves will recognize them as being elven boats. You also see a lot of fishing nets hung up between rocks and trees and things. Branches and things stuck in the nets. All sorts of detritus all over the place.
I think we might need to look for survivors. It looks like there has been a boat wreck.
How old does the all the wreckage look, Russell?
The wreckage looks very old, first of all.
Very old.
And also it looks as if it's been repurposed. Like they have literally repurposed the boat wrecks into... Well, those of you that are discerning will basically figure out that the goblins have taken these boats and repurposed them into houses or huts. One of them has been turned into their longhouse where some of them live.
Oh,
They just flipped it upside down to make the hull a roof.
never mind this. Haven't been used in ages as boats.
And because you're right on the edge of the water now, the mist is quite heavy here too. And you can hear the water lapping up gently against the stones.
Adrian, you doing all right there, boy?
Yes, I think I'm high enough up that I'm all right. It's quite misty up here, and I'm fine with heights, so that's relatively quite good.
I suppose we should try and parley with the ones in the...
Where is that coming from?
You see the cage.
Over here.
Hendrik's gonna walk up to it and address him in Undercommon.
So you see about 16 goblins inside this cage, and they are all naked, and they all look very battered and bruised. You can make a perception check, please.
Yes. That's a 21.
21. One of them looks like it might have a sort of distended belly, like could be a female, might be pregnant.
Guys, I think that one's pregnant. Why is she in a cage?
Why are they?
And naked.
Why are they all in a cage? How are we gonna communicate with them?
I'm gonna try to address them in Undercommon, and can you understand me?
One of them steps forward to the edge of the cage.
Me, Iglot. I hear your Undercommon.
Oh, well, I'm grateful that one of you does.
Oh, what you hear?
Here? Nothing. Just, why are you in this cage?
The fuck cage.
I beg your pardon, the what cage?
That's the fuck cage.
Ew.
Sorry, out of character for a second.
Make us breed.
Oh, I don't like that. That's not good. Guys.
Goblin make baby.
Okay, I wish I could.
What is he doing with his hands there? What does that mean?
Okay, so let me translate very briefly. These are their breeding cages. They throw them in here, and they breed, and they leave them in here, and this cage is for breeding.
So they would like out.
Turn back to the goblin I was talking to.
Yes.
What was her name again?
Iglot.
Eglot. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Sorry. Write that down. Eglot.
Well done, Russell. You've weirded out Tea Earl Grey hot.
Eglot, do you like being in the cage? Let me clarify. Not the activity.
Of course he's gonna like being in the cage if he's.
Look at the bruises.
Well, it might be
Good
their
for
way.
me,
Sorry, I
bad
didn't catch
for
it.
her.
All right. Well, what
she
is
says-
he saying?
Good for her, bad for the other one. Whatever that means. Was she gesturing at the pregnant lady?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like out?
Yes, out! Get out! Yes, out!
Okay.
Iglot want out.
Can you promise and that you can just like pleasantly just fuck off into the Underdark?
This,
Because I mean,
Yes.
all of your other folk were just something happened outside. There was an explosion, and
can you
it was
make an-
terrible. I don't know what happened.
Can you make an insight check, please?
I can. Sorry, Michael's also weirded out by this. That's a
All alone,
14.
Michael.
You notice this goblin Iglot, he casts his eye up to where the stairs are, this set of massive Astorian steps that lead up to this entrance, this massive stone gate that's been smashed open. You don't know how long ago. There's a parade of pillars on either side of it. And he looks up towards that gate when you say go back to the Underdark, and he looks kind of fearful for a moment.
What are you afraid of?
Eaglot no afraid nothing.
Then you won't mind going into the Underdark.
You come in here. Maybe we fuck. You
Can
like?
anybody else speak on Undercommon? I'd like to go outside
Well,
now. I need an adult.
Do they know
I'm
Orc?
sorry.
I'll try a little bit of
Eaglot,
Orc.
can you speak Orc?
You not like Eaglot. Eaglot
You know
like
what-
you.
You know, Eaglot, I'm married. And
Ask him if he
Don't-
speaks dwarf.
sorry, what was that, Barry?
Dwarf. Ask him if
Oh.
he can speak dwarf or elven.
Can you speak dwarf and/or orc
Or elven.
or elven?
No. Elf.
Okay, so not elven. No, we don't like elves.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak dwarven and/or orcish?
You like open the cage. Yes.
I'll have to.
Can we just leave them here to do whatever they're doing,
You know, I turn back to Barry.
please?
So this guy's name is Eaglot, and he seems to be in charge there. And I'd very much like to throw him into a ravine. I'm
Why you not open cage? Why you name?
my name is Adric. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Ah.
Eaglot.
Adric.
Adric, you're not getting a date too, are you?
No, absolutely
Quarkus tell
not.
me like fuck you, Adric, too. We take turn on you.
You
Adric
like his tone of voice.
No, I don't
What
like
is
it
he
either.
saying?
You know, Eaglot, if you tell me what's down those stairs, I might let you out.
Inside.
What is going on, please?
I'll explain everything in a moment.
Oh,
What's down those stairs?
Up the stairs. Inside.
Aye.
Up
Up and where does that go?
to the gate inside the ruined place.
Can you tell me about these ruins?
Underdark. Enter here.
So he says this is the entrance to the Underdark.
Big
What?
goblin camp stay here. Inside. This the outside.
And he says there's a bigger goblin camp in there, which we're probably due to go and clear.
Ask him if the goblin camp has always been here.
How long has the goblin camp been here?
Longer than Iglot be here.
Alright, so as long as he's known for his whole life.
we may be facing a little bit of an ethical dilemma here because the gods want to see this goblin thrown into a ravine. For 3,000 divinity.
Okay, that's clearly to make Eaglot roll a death save. God.
Inside. Be careful, many holes inside.
I can see that. I mean, in there.
Yes.
Right, not in the cage.
Inside the Underdark. Enter place.
Alright, so, gates, entrance to the Underdark. I
Very
did make a
broken
deal.
place. Be very careful you walk.
You know, he's been very helpful to us. Should I just let him out?
I don't like the tone of his voice.
You
I
know,
don't know what he's
What is
saying,
he-
but I
what is he
don't like him.
saying?
He's being very sexually suggestive to me. First. You shut up, Brixton. You don't know.
Brixton is having fun. He really thinks this is funny.
He doesn't know what's going on though.
No, but it sounds funny. He looked confused.
And he just said that this is the entrance to the Underdark, and there is a large goblin encampment there. So we could just walk away. I'm quite happy to just leave him.
He
But
looks
look
at
his
you,
little. Look at his
opens
face.
his eyes wide as he looks at you, Adric.
Eaglot, how old are you?
Many.
All right, so like the cute charm isn't quite working on me for someone like that. I'm just going to let them out. I can't just leave women in this cage. No, I'm letting them out. I'm letting them out, and I'm just going to go over to the door.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not hearing anybody telling me no or giving me a reason not to. I'm looking for a reason.
Well, I
Oh, okay, very good.
I don't really understand what's being talked about here.
We're not.
You
really
save
here to
us. We be friend forever. Adric.
Adric takes his hand off of the cage bars.
He reaches out and strokes your hand as you are close to him.
Is there anyone in the cage who really looks like they're not enjoying it in there?
Nobody's enjoying it in there, really.
Oh. It's just he did say earlier, good for me.
Hang on, wait a minute. Has
Aye.
not our king sent us here to, obliterate this lot?
Oh, I just
They're naked in a cage,
this
Brixton.
area. I think they're all fairly harmless, except for. And Adric looks at the one stroking him, except for this one. So we can destroy the cage, or we just let them go into the abyss on their own.
What you taste like, dwarf? I never eat you before.
I translate directly to the guys.
Oh, now we kill him.
Ew. That's ew.
You can cut one finger. I try it.
Look, I think...
I give you one mine.
I
You
think
try me, I
Adric-
try you.
Adric, what sort of eat does he mean?
The literal kind. But he was also sexually suggestive.
Oh, as food. I see.
Right, how about we deal with the goblins further in, and then on our way back, we can let
See how
these
we
ones
feel.
go. Because then there won't be anywhere for them to go in order to hurt us, other than down into the dark. If we let them go now, they'll run off, alert people, generally do terrible, terrible things.
Excellent plan.
Goodale.
Did Adric tell us that he seemed scared to go down into the Underdark?
I don't think he mentioned
didn't.
that specifically,
Okay.
but he could.
I like your idea.
Open the cage, Adric friend.
You know, we are friends, aren't we?
I know there is treasure.
Treasure, you say?
Did you
Yes.
say treasure?
Yeah, he said treasure.
No, really.
Oh, last time we got told about treasure, we were gonna get stabbed in the back by a drow. Now we're gonna trust goblins. No offense to the goblins, but I mean, whenever someone's in trouble, they always go for the treasure card.
But hang on. This is treasure we're talking about.
Yes, Idrin.
Pharaoh rich.
This was treasure that was buried under a large city. This is treasure in the wild. It could belong to anybody.
It's also Storian treasure, so it's likely guarded.
Yes, it's likely guarded by
Oh,
something.
and
You
really
no
terrible. They
need
just
talk
want
to your
us get
friend,
easy.
you talk with me. I give you treasure. Open the cage, we can fuck.
Oh, hang on. The fuck is the treasure?
Now,
Using a metaphor.
Adric is in stunned silence for the moment, and turns around very calmly. He is afraid to go down further. I don't want to talk to this one anymore.
Something. That which glitters is not gold. Something.
None of what's here is
I'm
glittering,
not
my
sure.
friend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about we leave them here? Once we clear out the goblins, then we can come back and let them bugger off.
Well, we'll do your plan.
You
go-
open the
go-
cage now.
I like you.
We'll go further in to
Adric,
investigate,
Adric,
and we'll come back
open
and
the cage,
open
Adric.
Adric's walking away as he's talking. We'll
Adric.
open
No,
later.
no, come back. Come back, Adric. Oh, where you go? You know what
Adric's
goes
is
there.
holding his head.
I'm patting him on the back.
Maglubiat,
Give him a
curse
comfortable
you!
back rub,
Curse
just
you!
like a, yeah, there
Maglubiat,
we go,
curse
buddy.
you!
Are you all right, Adric? I'm not sure what the what
You
that
don't
little
need to
goblin
say
said,
anything,
but
Adric.
Do you remember what?
Oh, yes, you do.
Remember the feeling you got when you looked at the Katobla Pass?
The what?
Do we know what that is? You remember that thing in the clearing?
that big thing back there.
Aye.
Well, yes.
I would much sooner let it step on me than talk to him again.
Come back,
Ew.
Adric.
I'll look back at the goblin and then I'll look at Edric and I'll go, oh.
You know, I
You
I
friend
really...
pretty. We fuck too. Come.
And I'm gonna turn around. Which friend?
All of them.
You know, I really wanted to let him out. I really did.
Let him out later. He just has
You
to
know,
learn
yeah,
to wait.
You know, I just feel sorry for the pregnant ones.
Yeah, but I don't know where we're going to
Even
house them while we're still
The
safe.
pregnant ones, are they?
Anyone
Well,
who's
pick the
paying
ones in
attention
there.
will notice that they've got burn marks on them.
Oh, hang on a second. Adric, come back, Adric. I start clicking at the goblins to get their attention. I point to the pregnant ones,
Yeah.
and I go,
One of the pregnant ones comes over to the side.
take out my wand.
And Maglubiat.
I start lighting it. I open the door, and I put the wand to the side and guide the pregnant one out gently with my
So-
wand pointed at the other ones.
Okay, so the ones that have the wand pointed at them, they're all cowering in the corner. Alright,
And the pregnant one I'm leading out.
okay.
Any other pregnant ones?
That you can tell, you can make a perception check. In fact, you can make a nature check.
Nature.
Adric hasn't got a fucking
8.
clue what to do.
You can make a medicine check following that.
Medicine check. Following that. A 10 for the medicine.
Okay, there's 2 that you think are pregnant, but you're not really sure. You're not sure about the second one. You are sure about one of them. You're not sure about the second one, and any number of others could be pregnant too.
Adric, ask your strange, horny friend which ones are pregnant.
Why are you taking these ones? You take the
she's-
ones with the babies.
Yes. He got how many other...
Oh, me too. I have inside. Yes.
He got how many others besides you?
Oh, everyone.
They're all pregnant.
Yes.
I said that to Idrin.
Especially me.
Dwarf.
They're all,
You let
They're
me
all
out.
pregnant.
all pregnant.
All of them, apparently. But, you know, I
According to
trust...
Iglot.
Should
was
we
about
not
to
be
s-
able to tell who's female if they're all naked?
Yes, you can.
Is
Iglot's a
Iglot
male,
clearly male?
by the way.
Pardon?
Iglot's male, so he's definitely not pregnant.
I think I'm kind of just dumbfounded, so I'm just
All right.
repeating these things.
I'll start herding out the female ones.
Iglot, you stay in the cage.
Why?
Start herding out the
What?
female
What do I
ones.
do wrong? Why you leave me here? You my friend, Adric. We fuck.
Iglot, you stay in that fucking cage, or I swear to whatever. I swear to McGlubiat.
All right.
Let us out.
Once I get the women out,
Yep.
going to shut the door. I'm going to
Yeah,
sit them down
Maglubiat
somewhere shaded,
curses you.
and I'm going to use encode thoughts, and I'm going to display the image of us coming back from the stairs,
Mm-hmm.
looking triumphant, and giving them nice things like food and clothes, and then helping them off, guiding them somewhere.
All right. First of all, what does triumphant look like?
Like we're not running away panicked. Actually, we're just coming back, because even if we're running away panicked, we're going to be helping them out of it. I'm going to be helping them out of here.
All right.
So us
Edward's
coming
going to
back.
as well, but
So can you make
helping-
a performance check of some description?
Performance or persuasion?
Which
one do you want?
have you got either of those as proficiencies?
I have proficiency in persuasion.
All right, you can make a persuasion check.
Come on. Oh, 23.
All right. Okay. This seems to be working.
And then I'll go through a good portion of my food supplies for Tup and start giving them little crumbs of food. Some of it is berries. Some of it is a little bit of cheese.
After they basically take what you give them and then they scramble away, almost like monkeys would, over to the boats and the various other structures around the place, and basically head off away from you guys. But they're sort of all within 100 feet.
They're all kind of just hovering
and watching from a distance, but not so close that you can lightning bolt them or.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I think that gets the general gist. I don't think they're going anywhere.
Adrian,
Yes.
thank you. Can I have a
No
hug,
worries. Of course. And I give him a big burly, as much as I can bear hug.
Milford goes, oh my god.
I need to have a shower. In the rain. Actually, Edric goes outside and stands in the rain for a good minute.
Okay. To your ground.
Just
I
by
start-
himself.
I start giving little puffs of wind, of refreshing wind at him while he's standing in the rain to help him just feel better.
All right.
Just like
Goodale, what are you doing at the moment?
I think Goodale might walk over to Leith and ask him what he knows about goblins. Leith, is this a common practice amongst goblins? Do you know?
I'm. Do I know?
Make a nature check.
No, that's
12.
Milford.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that you would expect from goblins, given the general sort of social accretions that you have acquired from your cultural programming.
What he said.
Okay. Yes, that's what I would have expected as well, but I know that I was perhaps told a bunch of lies. This seems completely in line with what I've been told about goblins.
Well, yes, they do procreate.
One of the goblins comes out from one of the huts and is making a beeline for you guys. It's one of the women. She's holding something in her arms. Something wrapped up in cloth.
Oh.
She comes over towards you. Who's the one closest at the moment? I'm going to roll a d6 and ones as a re-roll. Okay?
Right.
Okay.
Goodale. She approaches you with a baby goblin in her arms.
Oh, hello.
She lifts it up and tries to pass it to you.
Oh, yes, he's beautiful.
One of the other goblins starts yelling at her, and then another one joins in. And then they start throwing rocks at her.
Oh,
And she's just taking these rocks. And
all right. Well, I'm juggling the baby, and I get my shield out, and I'm trying to shield her and myself and the baby.
She withdraws from you and starts running away, and then they start throwing rocks at her. And they knock her unconscious.
Galandahl, you might have just become a parent.
Oh, dear heavens!
Welcome to parenthood.
No.
Galandahl, see if the baby's sick.
Medicine check.
Medicine check. Yep, you can make a medicine check.
I'll go and get the mother, Russell.
All right.
Thank you. Third.
10. You can't tell if it's sick. It's hard to tell. I mean, they've all got snot pouring out of their faces. They all look kind of sick and distended and malnourished.
What on earth do they keep their society going when they treat their pregnant women and babies like this?
I'm not sure it's for us to judge. I think.
No, but I mean medically, how do they survive?
Yeah, that is a good question, but
It might be that they're not meant to survive. Sort of rough and tough. Whichever one survive happens to survive.
Yeah.
Or some sort of cultural thing. It may have been whether it may be a common thing, or it may have been because she handed the child to you. I don't know whether it was because she handed it over, or whether it was because she was pregnant at all.
Well, somebody's got to heal her now.
Andrew probably walks in at this point. Are they still throwing rocks?
Not that she's lying. Now that she's lying on the ground unconscious.
What the hell happened here?
Galandahl, would you like to go? I can take the babe if you want to go attend to the mother.
Oh, thank you.
One of the other
Edrin.
goblins comes up to you
Okay.
and starts tugging on the baby's leg. And you can hear Adric. Actually, no, you don't speak Goblin. You only speak Undercommon.
Yeah.
Leith, can you find out what they're saying? What is she saying?
Oh, yes. And I'll cast comprehend languages. What's she saying?
Give it to me! Give it to me! Give me this baby! It's not yours. Why you take it?
She wants the baby.
Yep. What?
It's one of us. You take it, you curse it forever. It will
Oh, we don't
never
want
be
to do
gone.
that.
She says it's going to be cursed forever if we take it.
Oh, very good. Then I hand it back.
Good.
That may have been why she got stoned.
She grabs it and runs off with the baby.
Okay.
What do we do, guys?
I'm going to cure wounds on the one that's fallen down.
All right.
She gets a 3.
Okay. She wakes up again. She starts to sit up. She looks very dazed, and she just sits there and looks around. And you see her. She goes down and puts her hands on the ground in front of her and puts her head down on the rocks. And you hear her saying the word Maglubiet, Maglubiet, Maglubiet over and over again.
Adric, do you know what she's saying? What does Maglubiet mean?
Can I roll a history or religion?
Religion checks. Everybody can make a religion check. You can make a religion check, Galandahl.
Okay.
Ugh, that's a 7. I don't know anything.
Either you don't know or you're distracted. It could be one of those.
It's a 7 for me as well.
All right, you're both distracted. Edrin, you're not really listening to it either. But Galandahl, you know, Maglubiet, you suddenly realize, it's you. Once you sort of tune into what it's saying, you realize what it's saying. It's saying the name of the deity of the chief deity of the goblinoids.
Oh, Maglubiet. She's the chief deity of the goblins.
He or she.
He or she. Okay, yeah.
Oh, she's praying clearly, which they don't. It doesn't. They don't seem like a particularly good god. I'm not particularly keen on eviscerating defenseless people and children.
No, look, I think they get the gist of what we want to do when we come back. I think all we can do now is leave them separated and hope they don't tear each other apart.
Aye.
Well, that's another good point. I'll encode thoughts of them not tearing each other apart and just sitting quietly until we return.
Okay, another persuasion check, please.
Of course. Rolls a 1, they start killing each other. I mean, I got a 6.
Okay. All right, you do your best, Adrian. You do your best.
So, let me float a thought by you guys really quickly before we continue.
Right.
Braegan is aiming to become king of everything, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Everything includes them. So,
Well,
Ostensibly, yes.
one would assume so. Yes.
Yes.
What?
Let's be clear. He wants to be king of Sidariel Tularathion, the Elven realms.
but these guys are on Elven realms.
That's true.
They would certainly.
Galandahl, I think this is Galandahl and Leith. I think this is probably more your field. Is there any chance that he'd be willing to take them on and protect them, help them not that gestures at the fuck cage? Because that's not good for anybody.
Well,
Yes, but that's your culture, not theirs.
You know, the only one that I can ask if it's good for them is Eglod, and I know what he thinks. So we just leave them?
well, it would be. I mean, it would be better for them if they, in the longer term, if they did. But that would be forcing our own beliefs, our own structures onto them.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yes.
Well, this one who tried to give me her baby
The
She's-
baby could have been ill.
could have been. But perhaps if we invited some to come in and visit our way of being and then return them, perhaps they could start discussing amongst themselves things that they've seen. And
In this day and age, with you know who in charge, and I'm not talking about our king, I wouldn't stand the monkeys.
Yes, but Milford, I don't think it's being proposed that we get the goblinoids involved with the current king. We are
Hey,
talking-
you! Adric! Why
He's
you
talking
not
to
let
me.
us out?
You know what? Let's think on this later. And let's go and do something.
Say in Dwarvish, do you want me to get rid of him?
No, not yet.
Why you no want to fuck me?
Again in Dwarvish, he's making you very uncomfortable.
He turns around and shows you his ass.
can you put him to sleep, Edrin? Do you still have that spell handy?
Adric's really. Adric's like this close to like bludgeoning him.
I don't know if that'd be a bad thing. Yes, I'll cast sleep on the little bastard.
All right. He just goes boom.
Okay, now shall we get to work?
Yeah, let's go do something constructive.
All
Yes,
right.
let's go, and then we can come back for these poor souls.
All right.
Yes, good thinking.
So I'm going to leave you guys walking up the steps between these huge pillars, these big broken pillars, up these massive Astorian staircase. On either side of you, on your left-hand side is the Astorian wall that you came through. On the right-hand side of you is a goblinoid camp that seems to be somewhat abandoned now. And at the top of these stairs, these two huge broken doors smashed open, laying on the floor. And I'll just leave you to think about this. What could possibly have had the strength or power to fling those doors open and smash them and leave them like this is quite some considerable power. So thank you all for watching the Vaingate Chronicles episode 16, Into the Underdark, as our characters literally breach into the Underdark. Good night, and we shall meet again.
Good night, friends.
everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.
Good night. All right, and bye.